the face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
WrestleMania season has come upon us here on The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM on the EMC Podcast Network and on all good podcasting providers. I'm Dave Cullen. I'm joined by the man in the top 0%, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Dave.
Excited?
Good. It's another day of not even being on the scale. So things are going pretty well. You could say I'm off the grid.
How could you be the top 0%, by the way?
It happens when you're off the grid, man.
Off the grid?
Yeah. When you're off the grid, you can't be found. Everything's A-okay.
Indeed.
Despite doing a podcast every week where you give away my name and my Twitter handle. So thanks for that.
Yeah, here on the podcast, which is ranked, I don't even know where we are in the Irish wrestling rankings. To be honest
We're
with
not
you.
ranked first, supposedly.
Yeah, like, and I don't mean this with I don't mean to take a dig by saying this, but the OTT podcast, which is a very awesome podcast, and they mentioned very casually during Martina's Gaff party that they're the number one Irish wrestling podcast, but considering the listens they get.
They give you a little dig there in the side, did they?
I don't know.
Was Ango looking right at you when he said
no,
that?
well, I think it's facing my direction, but listen,
I think he was looking right at you. I think he was pointing at you, did he?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to bear a grudge with him. You know, it's not like I'm going to, you know, find him, discover he's going into a bus with a bunch of wrestlers, and then attack him, and then but end up injuring other wrestlers and end up getting them off a card or something like that. I'm not going to. No, who's stupid enough to do that?
So, Dave, are you trying to tell me, because your antics of throwing trash cans and throwing forklifts... No. If your antics of doing that, throwing them at a bus, meant that Martina has a bad ankle and Jordan Devlin has a dislocated thumb just because of that?
No,
or were they because of your actions, Dave?
No, I'm just saying I wouldn't resort to that, unlike some people.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
To be fair, though, when you do have the voice of the Irish David Attenborough, like Ango does, it's kind of hard to beat.
You should call him that. I don't think he's ever called himself that yet. The David Attenborough of actual professional wrestling.
Ango, I know you listen to the show, and if you don't, I don't know why you don't, but you, sir, are the Irish David Attenborough. I want you to narrate a series of documentaries looking at Planet Ireland.
He narrates
where
wrestling.
You see the Dublin junkie in its natural habitat in Dublin city centre.
But if he's doing Irish wrestling, he's basically narrating the wrestling. That's his job.
He can narrate anything.
Exactly.
And it'd be interesting. That's why he is the David Attenborough of Ireland.
Anyway, we're coming to you from the RFM studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Gulick. What, the David Attenborough of?
The David Attenborough of Ireland. The Irish David Attenborough.
The Irish David Attenborough. Mm-hmm. Anyway, as I said, we're coming to you live from the Near FM studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here for the next 2 hours, bringing you all the latest news, results, previous rumours, and more from the world of professional wrestling. We'll be giving you, I'll be bringing all the past week's action, a lot of past week's action from the likes of Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, OTT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and WWE.
Yeah, we have an interesting new segment coming up, actually, in part of our reviews for the OTT show.
Yeah,
which is actually going to be pretty interesting.
We'll get to that shortly.
We'll get to that soon.
And we'll also be previewing events from the likes of Low Blows, PW, OTT, and CCW. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with news concerning PWG over in California, which has a story that really is one that we could probably relate to as OTT fans here in Ireland.
Yeah.
Where Pro Wrestling Guerrilla will be departing their long-term home venue. The promotion announced the news last Wednesday, revealing the dates of the last 3 shows to be taking place at the American Legion Post #308 at Reseda, California, saying, quote, PWG says goodbye to Reseda. The final 3 shows at the American Legion Hall will take place on April 20th, 21st and May 25th. The move after Reseda has been PWG's show from the past decades and have been reluctant to use bigger buildings as they've been made due to the Legion Hall being sold, but because of an issue with PayPal where tickets were oversold. Last Friday's Time is a Flat Circle was the first PWG show to be held outside of Reseda since the Kurt Russell reunion events of the 2010-2012. The time of the Flat Circle took place at the Globe Theatre in Los Angeles, and Dave Meltzer reports that he had the feeling that the venue could become a regular new home base for PWG, also noting that there may be other buildings that may be used at times. The Globe Theatre fits 700 people for the show, which is an increase from the 400 that would regularly attend Reseda. So far, the PWG 2 shows in April will feature, for the All-Star weekend they have coming up, will feature Taiji Ishimori, who recently departed for Pro Wrestling Noah, Hangman Page, Robbie Eagles and Tyler Bateman, all set to debut at the promotion. Also, the Young Bucks will be wrestling in the Legion Hall for the last time as they face Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb and Desmond Xavier and Zachary Waltz in a tag team title match at night 1. So, as I said, something we can relate to with OTT and the Tivoli, because that's not going to be that's going to be going soon for us, like, or for Irish fans there.
The only difference is, I think, obviously PWG are making the decision to move themselves instead of OTT, unfortunately, are having to take these actions because they're being forced to move.
Yeah, in their case, they're victims of their own success.
Yes,
but they've been.
I say OTT could be the same as well, because for a while I think people have been saying, myself included, that they should look into regularly having shows in a venue that can probably hold a little more. Which
is what they're doing now with the Slur Road.
Arena,
so,
yeah.
Or at least that's probably their future venue going forward. Like, we don't know, like, but we can only imagine, like, that. And then again, that and we talked about when we had a review here. It's an attractive venue. Like, it's one that, you know, could definitely suit like, in terms of the extra more people that will go there, and plus the Lewis Rise actually makes it more fun when you think about it. Like, you know,
yeah.
Like,
I think as well the fact that the arena is all seated, I think, would be a big plus too.
Indeed, which it is.
Would encourage a lot more people to go to it. Like myself included. Unfortunately, if I can't get a seat, I don't tend to go to the events in the Tivoli, solely because I am a very small person and I can't see.
Which is a debate that's been going on a bit, like, lately. I think I've noticed a couple of podcasts mentioned that, including the likes of Low Blows, where they are like, unless you're ringside or unless you're right at the front of the floor, it becomes very difficult. And I can understand if you're, and no matter what height you are, even if you're very tall or not the tallest guy like yourself, like, no offense, where I'm just
the same height as me, so it's fine.
But what I mean is, like, here's the arena then, which is all seated. Everyone has a fair view, like, you know, whether you're further back or up the front. So it makes for a better difference there. So
exactly. I'm totally and like how the stadium shows are all seated as well, apart from at the very back where you can stand against the wall. That's fine if there's one row of standing. Like, I don't mind if you want to have some standing at it. But when it's mostly standing, that's when the problem, I think, occurs with it.
Yeah.
And like we saw just this Friday, actually. Now, obviously, they're not going to think about going to the Sean Casey Theatre, but to have their shows. But having an all-seated event like that is a real plus.
It works, doesn't it?
Everyone gets to see, and there's no complaints about that, and everyone can get involved.
Which is what PWG are doing. Like, they're like, even the Reseda is all-seated as far as we can see.
Yeah.
And it's, I haven't don't know enough about the Globe Theatre. I haven't seen any bits of their matches yet. I've only seen the highlights on. They usually have a highlight video on YouTube.
A preview, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's similar to what OTT do, like when they release DVDs or whatever, or if they have an on-demand system. Well, like, it seems like they're all seated as well. Like, it works around a theatre, and the stageway is their venue. Like, so. So I'm interested to see what happens going forward with them, like, so. But again, in a way, it's a good thing for them because they're finally developing. There's another really good match I noticed on that. I didn't mention it in the news. Keith Lee just won the World Championship. He'll be defending it against Walter and Jonah Rock in a triple threat match.
that will break the ring.
Literally.
It will break the ring. I'm sorry, some unfortunate soul is going through that ring.
Indeed. We'll have to see what happens. We'll move on in the meantime. We talked about The Miz and Maurice recently having a child last week. It looks like there's another new welcome from the world in the wrestling.
Yes,
in the
it
wrestling
seems
world.
as though it's not just WrestleMania week this week, it's Baby Week this week.
Baby Mania.
Baby Mania, because another WWE couple is welcoming the birth of their first child. WWE.com announced on Wednesday that Maria Kanellis Bennett and Mike Bennett are now officially parents after Maria gave birth to their daughter called Frederica? Is that how you say it? Frederica. Or Freddie, short Moon, Bennett, and weighs in 6 pounds. And WWE notes that mom and baby are both doing great. Maria posted on Instagram during the week that the baby's due date was coming up. With Mike using Maria's last name on television, the couple arrived in WWE at Money in the Bank 2017. After leaving Impact, Maria announced that she was pregnant last September and made a brief appearance on Raw's 25th anniversary episode in January, while Mike has been wrestling at house shows and dark matches at Smackdown tapings. This is the second straight week that WWE made an announcement, of course, after Maurice and Miz welcomed their daughter into the world last Tuesday. Great news. Absolutely great news.
Awesome stuff. Another addition to the world. The thing I have to say though, away from the whole the thing, because obviously congratulations to them, they've had their child as well. But because of Mike Kanellis, or Mike Bennett, do you think because of the whole story they were before that they're keeping them under the house show rule for now? Or
they just don't have that for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want to do with him, because I think a big part of his character obviously is Maria. So
yeah, that's probably one of the reasons he's there. Yeah. But credit where it's due, because a lot of wrestlers would probably leave for less than that. That's probably that's how it happened to Austin Aries. Yeah, they had nothing for him, he left.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing is maybe they have an idea to repackage him after Mania, because how pretty much a whole new start after Mania. So if you can repackage him then and maybe do something, because Maria won't be back at least for another year.
Do you think
he
should be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal?
Yes,
you definitely. You can't
definitely
see why
should
wouldn't
be. He should make an appearance tonight.
Yeah. It can't be, and it's a reward in a way now, especially since he had the child and so on and so forth. Yeah. So congratulations to them. Unfortunately, as one life is born, another one is taken away from us, unfortunately, this week. Tommy Sullivan, a.k.a. Lustrous Johnny Valiant, unfortunately died as he was struck by a truck Wednesday morning. He was 71 years old. According to reports from WPXI, Sullivan was struck after he ran across a busy road. Police said it was a terrible accident, but they are still investigating. The WWE Hall of Famer of 1996 was a two-time WWF Tag Team Champion with Storyline brothers Jimmy and Jerry. Debuting in 1967 at the Detroit territory, Sullivan worked throughout the US and Canada, getting up the mid-card level in WWF. After retiring from in-ring competition, he became a manager at the AWA, managing a young Hulk Hogan in the early 80s. He later headed to the WWF to manage Brutus Beefcake, putting together the dream team of Beefcake and Greg Valentine. He would later manage Valentine and Dino Bravo as the new dream team before leaving the organisation in 1988 for a return to the AWA. So it's a tragic story, especially considering his age, and dying in such circumstances like that. It's a nasty way to go, isn't it?
It's a horrible way to go. Unfortunately, I can't say I know much about.
I know of him,
so I couldn't say I did either. I couldn't say I knew anything, to be honest. So nonetheless, it still is a horrible tragedy, but I can't really say much more on that.
Yeah, me either. So on behalf of the Kick-Out, we just want to wish all the best and more, and our thoughts are with their family and friends at this moment in time. Now, on to that now. Probably the biggest story, this isn't even a wrestling story, but the biggest sports story in the world right now. We have to mention it because it's one of our own.
The strangest story that we saw from last night, and UFC lightweight champion Conor McGregor is in New York police custody on Thursday night. Now, as we're recording this on Friday, an update is he actually has been charged because he threw a metal dolly through a bus window, injuring several fighters that resulted in multiple fights being cancelled. Both TMZ and Newsday, reported the news with an NYPD statement that read, Mr. McGregor is in custody of the New York Police Department. No formal charges have been filed and our investigation is ongoing. Of course, that has changed since today. NBC News tweeted that McGregor is at NYPD 78 precinct, where he's expected to be charged with assault following an incident in Brooklyn, New York. According to 2 senior New York law enforcement officials, the 29-year-old made news as he and a large group of men crashed the Barclays Center Thursday afternoon, apparently in an effort to gain a measure of revenge against Khabib Nurmagomedov. That is totally wrong, but I tried it. I said I was going to try it, and I did. I'm going to keep it as Khabib for the rest.
Yeah.
Following a confrontation he had with McGregor's teammate Artem Lobov. Lobov was removed from Saturday's NFC 23 fight card after today's events. Also removed from the show was Michael Chiesa, who unfortunately suffered lacerations to his head and face from broken glass, and also Ray Borg, who suffered some broken glass in his eye. And they were scheduled to fight Anthony Pettis and Brandon Moreno respectively. Now there is some updates since we wrote this news story out.
Right.
Another fight has been cancelled.
Okay.
Khabib's opponent Max Holloway has since actually been suspended by doctors. He's saying it has nothing to do with the incident last night.
Okay.
But he failed medical and he's not able to fight. At the moment, the likely opponent for Khabib, if they can get it done in time, is going to be Anthony Pettis, of course, who was meant to fight Michael Chiesa.
Right.
But unfortunately, of course, like we said, Chiesa
yeah.
can't fight. This is an unbelievably crazy story.
You can say that again. And it's all over something that just seems very... it's so strange, because it seems like the whole motivation for Conor to do all this was for his revenge for Khabib over an altercation that, it had nothing to do with him really, but it mentioned his name.
There's a few different trains of thought when it comes to this story, and I've done a lot of research since I found out this news. So, interestingly enough, I was actually out for dinner on Thursday night, and I had no idea this was happening, and I got home, and my dad said to me after all, he says, "Did you hear about Conor?" And I was like, "Conor who?" "Conor McGregor." And he goes, "No, what?" He's after throwing something through a bus. And I was like, "What?" And he said he threw a trash can through a bus. And I was like, "Get out of here, will you? What are you talking about? Like when you was a kid or something?" He goes, No, the police are after him. And obviously the news came up when I saw what had happened. There's a long storied history supposedly with Artem Lobov and Khabib.
Yeah.
Both are Russian. Obviously, Lobov sees himself as half Russian, half Irish, because he's a very good teammate, a very good friend of Conor McGregor, and obviously a teammate in SBG. And he's been living here for a good number of years.
So is he an Irish citizen, but was born in Russia? Let's say.
I'm not too sure. I don't know if he's actually gained Irish citizenship, but he definitely lives over.
But his residence is Ireland.
Yeah.
So more points.
And him and Khabib have a history where they actually don't get on.
Okay.
And there was mumblings that if these two did pass each other in the Fighters Hotel, that there would be an altercation, which we then saw with a video that was released on Wednesday with Khabib and Artem Lobov having a discussion in Russian. It seemed to be not a normal friendly discussion, but
no, of course not.
Obviously there was some ferocity to it, but there was no altercation. At one point, Khabib put his hand on the back of Artem Lobov's neck. There was rumours supposedly that there was a slap involved. I did not see any slap, but that video caused Conor and 20-30 of his friends to get on a private plane, fly to New York, and interrupt the media day after it was finished.
Yeah.
Which was a very strange... They planned this out, because the media day was finished. The last to leave on the media day are the fighters themselves. A lot of security actually gone as well. Conor McGregor's promotional company that he owns,
Right.
MacLife, were accredited to the event and were there covering it.
Right.
They were the ones that let McGregor and his friends in.
Yeah.
Then you see him go down to the loading dock where the buses were leaving. That's where the video starts, where you see what was it? It was a dolly. That's what it was. It was a dolly that was thrown through the window.
I thought I saw someone, when I saw one of the videos, I could have sworn, I'm not sure if it was Conor himself, but one of them was trying to throw a railing to the bus.
That was Conor.
That was Conor as well.
That was Conor as
So
well.
it could have been far worse.
They threw I think it was a chair or a bin at the back and cracked the back window as well. The co-main event for that fight was Rose. I'm gonna try this again. Damagunes.
No, Namajunas.
You know who I'm talking about.
Of course.
You know who I'm talking about.
She's bantamweight champion at the moment.
She was meant to do her rematch against Joanna Jacek.
Yeah.
Who I can pronounce that.
Yes, you
I
can.
get that one.
No,
but
Rose
supposedly
Mena
she was so...
Mena Nunes is her surname. Mena Nunes, I think it's...
It's, yeah.
Anyway.
Rose.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
we're going to just...
Yeah.
Supposedly she was so upset. There was rumours that she was injured. She wasn't injured. Supposedly that she was so upset what happened that she was threatening to leave the fight as well. So... what has been built up as a fantastic card in the space of 24 hours has been pretty much good.
Pretty much.
And obviously with the Max Holloway news as well today,
Yeah.
it's not making... it's not pleasing to anyone at all, and most notably probably Dana White.
I saw Dana White's actually reaction to it, and he is not happy
You know,
at all.
and he had some more interviews today where he continued that train of thought where he wasn't happy and stuff. And obviously the questions were asked from what to do with Conor next. Suspension, dismissal, what?
Well, he doesn't actually want to talk to him whatsoever. Well, at least that
They had a conversation. No, they did have a conversation. They did. And Conor said, I'm sorry for what happened to the fighters. These are Dana White's words, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for what happened to the fighters, but it had to be done. Conor didn't think that what he did was wrong. He was just sorry that the innocent people got caught in it.
Oh yeah, but like, you know, I understand what he's trying to do for his teammate, but that's not the way you do it.
Yeah.
It's not
Now,
the way you do it. It's
obviously there's one train of thought where get Conor out of this company. He's done, blah blah blah.
He could be
I can bet you he's getting sued through the guilds now after this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's chances he
At
may not be.
At least 2 fighters are going to sue him.
Exactly, and as well as staff members of the UFC who also got injured.
Who got injured as well.
But not only that, there's also talk that he might not be allowed to be in the United States anymore because of
of
this.
course, if he has a felony, yeah.
Exactly.
That leads on to my next train of thought.
Which is what?
It's a promotional tool from Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but they're involving law enforcement here.
Hear me out.
Okay.
This is trying to do something different where they're trying to build hype for a fight.
Between him and Khabib, is it?
Well, some are saying Floyd Mayweather, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It's
It will never happen.
But it has nothing to do with Floyd
happen.
Mayweather.
But if you want to build up a fight with Khabib and try and build as much publicity and as much buys as possible, so then Conor can try and demand the amount of money that he got for the Mayweather fight. Because let's break it down. And for the Mayweather fight, he got 100 million.
He did.
UFC fights, the max he's going to get is 10, maybe 15 million.
Yeah,
Despite it being a lot of money, that's a big drop.
it is.
That's why we haven't seen Conor in an octagon. And that's why we haven't heard anything from Conor saying, or any possibility of a fight being made. Because he is not going to take that drop. So what's the best way of doing it? Build up hype so much about 2 people that hate each other. He's taking a leaf out of WWE, and I know he is.
Which is ironic considering the weekend where two of the biggest UFC stars other than Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, are in WrestleMania.
Exactly. You build this as 2 men who hate each other, a fight that can never happen in the United States. So where do you do it?
Russia?
Moscow.
So he's going to now.
Moscow.
He's going to do Rocky training over there now,
You
is
get America buying that pay-per-view, and you probably get a lot, probably the second biggest population in the world, a lot of Russian wanting that as well. Mm-hmm. There you go. There's your pay-per-view boys. Add in Ireland, add in UK, add in the whole world. That gets you up to a different stratosphere when it comes to UFC pay-per-view.
Would
boys,
UFC want to be involved in that?
Conor, I don't know. But see, that's the thing. If they are interested in making this fight happen,
right,
that's what it could happen. Now, that's just the one school of thought that's there. I'm not saying that's what they're trying to do. I'm saying that's something that could be done.
Indeed.
I myself were in the first train of thought where, like, that's thuggish. It's scumbaggery. That's not even a word, but I'm making it a word.
Scumbaggery.
Scumbaggery.
I like it.
And I would actually push for him to get fired because of that.
I can't see him
I don't
fighting
care
again.
how much money. I don't care if he's the biggest guy in the world. You've got to make an example out of this guy, because Conor McGregor's trash talking and stuff led to other fighters deciding that they had to do it as well, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. That helps build up fights. That's great. But if other fighters are thinking that Conor McGregor can get away with what he did in injuring people,
Which he shouldn't.
endangering the lives of people,
costing other people's fights and money, essentially.
What's going to happen the next time? It's alright in WWE, because guess what? Spoiler alert, it's scripted.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't scripted.
There's
a lot of those fighters who can't fight anymore. They've
lost paydays. A guy who has glass in his eye.
Yeah.
That could end his career.
Exactly, and he's a very good fighter, like Michael Chalzia. So
Michael Borg.
Ray Borg.
Michael Chiesa was actually having his first fight back after multiple back injuries as well.
So
he was been waiting for this fight for 2 years.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, it's been taken away from him.
It's horrible, isn't it? Like, you know, the publicity is one thing, but again, it's not the way to do it. And I saw, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of people who are obviously against Conor's actions and look down upon him as a result of this. I was one of the. I probably would have been in the camp before all this stuff happened. I would have been in the, especially with all the Kinahan stuff. You know, pre Mayweather fight, I was one of the biggest fans of Conor McGregor. Well, not the biggest fans, but I was on his side. Exactly.
Post Floyd Mayweather and seeing his actions and stuff like this, you're getting a glimpse into the true person that he is.
Or certainly what he's. Or certainly
I couldn't care less anymore about.
Well, it's certainly a case where, you know, like he's probably a different person to what he was before then, as opposed to now. Like sometimes a certain amount of fame and a certain amount of money you make, once it goes 9 figures, which he earned in that Mayweather fight.
But you know the crazy thing is, he's doing this, right?
Right.
All this stuff. He has a kid at home.
That's where it's at. Yeah. A newly born one as well.
What sort of example is that, sir?
That's exactly what Dana White said. I don't know what to say at this point. I really don't.
Should we move on?
We could go on about this for literally ages anyway, but we'll move on. Like, you know, let's talk about actually the first few shows that happened at WrestleMania weekend. That started only yesterday, or during the week, I should say. First of all, Matt Middle's Bloodsport by Game Changer Wrestling took place in New Orleans on Thursday afternoon USA time. Now the rules are a bit different from your usual wrestling shows. There's no ropes. There's posts. There's no turnbuckles. It's basically like a sumo ring with posts. Simpler with that. And the only ways you can win the match is either finished by submission or knockouts. So they're encouraging like MMA style, but in wrestling. So that's a very intriguing show. I like that sort of idea. So results are as follows. Dominic Garini defeated KTB by a triangle submission. Eddie Kingston defeated Tracy Williams by a spinning backfist KO. Masada defeated Martin Stone by ref stoppage due to elbows. Walter defeated Tom Lawler, former UFC fighter, by an arm and leg choke submission. Dan Severn, UFC legend, defeated Chris Dickinson by a rear naked choke submission despite a non-call during the match, which means Dickinson thought he won but was reversed. Post-match, Dickinson, who's the heel of this company, attacked Severn from the outside before it was broken up by Riddle, among others. Nick Gage defeated Timothy Thatcher via KO after repeated forearm strikes to the head. And Minoru Suzuki, a last-minute replacement for Low Ki, defeated Matt Riddle by a choke, where the King of Bros tried to fight out of it, but was too deep and ref called it off. Post-match, Suzuki shook his hand after he embraced Riddle as the crowd celebrated alongside with him. So it's an interesting concept, that they're doing with that. So I'm not sure that's a regular thing. I don't know much about Game Changer Wrestling over there, but it's certainly a very unique aspect.
Definitely seeing some videos of it there last night and this morning. It's definitely something different, which I think that you can possibly get on board on. It's not something that you'll have on all the time.
It's very niche though.
It is very niche.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that is a bad thing though. It's just one of these things where it's like, yeah, it works for a certain audience, but it's only for a certain audience. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's like everyone has different tastes of wrestling. This is a completely different. This is like this is like MMA strong style wrestling essentially. Yeah, where all these guys are involved. Like, and all these guys have either trained wrestling before or involved in martial arts as well. So it makes for interesting matches in the future. Like, imagine God knows who else. Like Minoru Suzuki is like the perfect guy to have in there, for example.
Oh, for sure. He's like the baddest guy to have in there.
Imagine having someone like, I don't know, Boss Rutan or someone like that. I don't know if Boss Rutan was involved in wrestling. I don't think he was, but like he could easily encourage matches like that, but
it would definitely be one of those things that would encourage more MMA fighters to make the transition over for something like this.
That's the thing, and it's like a first taste of this, and then they expand outwards. So that's probably what Matt Riddle's trying to encourage, which is good in that sense. Outside of that, Evolve also had their show during the week as well.
They did. Evolve 102 took place in New Orleans on Thursday evening, USA time, and the results are as follows. DJZ beat Austin Theory. Will Ospreay, of course, still recovering from that horrible head injury from his match with Marty Skrull at Sakura Genesis.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later.
Defeated AR Fox. At the end, defeated the Workhorsemen, Dominic Garini and Tracy Williams, and Evolved Tag Team Champions Chris Dickinson were also involved in the match. WWN Champion Keith Lee defeated Darby Allin in a non-title match. Daisuke Semimoto, I should say, and Munari Sawa defeated Ring Comp, of course the team of Walter and Timothy Thatcher. And then in the main event, Matt Riddle defeated Zack Sabre Jr. to win the Evolve Championship. Interesting also, there was another match on, I think it was Keith Lee was defending, I can't remember the title he was defending. He was defending a title in one of the WWE Access shows against Cassius Ohno.
I heard about that. I didn't see it. Like I saw some of the WrestleMania Access matches. Like there's a lot. Like it's like tournaments for.
They're having a lot of tournaments for chances at the UK Championship.
It's more than that. Like there's the UK title. It's also for all the other titles, like the North American title, the tag titles, and the women's title. The main heavyweight title is not involved, but they have like all these indie stars. Like Zach Gibson's involved in the UK title one, for example. And I think Keith Lee's involved in one of the tournaments, and
yes, for the North American title.
That's it. Yes, so I think that's cool. Like they have people in there who are probably just there as a once-off, as opposed to guys who are regular employees. So it works that sense as well. So, and there's so much more we could talk about with the weekends, but like because there's stuff like Joey Janela's Joey
Janela's Spring Break.
That's it. Yeah, which session with Martina is involved in.
She made her debut last night as well.
Indeed.
So, all things went well, as far as I'm aware. I can't tell you the exact results.
Yeah, no, we don't. None of us know either. But at the same time, like considering the week that she had, the weekend she had before that, where I imagine she caught a few injuries, like so. Yeah. But certainly. But we'll get onto that now once we return from our short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on the Kick Out, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Now let's continue on the show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
We have a disgusting amount of results to talk about now. First off, we're going to start off with Five Factory Pro Wrestling Episode 4. So first of all, the reason we picked this song, it's a bit creepy. It's because the song is called Good Friday, from a band who I don't actually keep forgetting the name of it. Sorry about that.
Ooh, who's I? Is EC3 trying to get involved in some Five Factory stuff?
I think he's jealous that you're the top 0% or something like that. So,
but look, you know where I am, EC3. You want to bring the heat? Come on.
From a band called
Fire Extinguisher.
From a band called Then Comes Silence, anyway, a song called Good Friday. We just thought it was appropriate for considering what they called their card. We only booked this on Good Friday because we thought people couldn't drink and wouldn't have anything else to do. And this was a class card and it's a real step up from Five Factory, because certainly in their last few shows, don't get me wrong, they've always been the awesome shows, but they've stepped up a notch so much now. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was my first time going there as well. Obviously, you've told me about how good the previous shows have been. Really good crowd there as well.
Exactly.
Almost sold out too. There was a lot of full seats. I didn't see a lot of empty seats there either.
Indeed. So obviously the card was first hyped up by the new Five Factory Pro Wrestling general manager Rick Nash, who hyped up the crowd before. It's like he sort of did like a Jim Smallman sort of thing, where he was going, so who's been here before? Who's never been here before? And here's Butch between us going, it's your round, it's your round. So like, because have you ever seen a Progress show? He always does that. Like he encourages things and stuff. He gave us a bit of a
you most notably didn't see me.
It's because I didn't raise. It's because you didn't raise your hands.
Because somehow Butch was sitting in between us. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Don't mean it in a bad way.
No, it don't.
No. But I just put my hands up. Like, yeah, I do a podcast. So like, oh yeah, well, we'll do so and so forth. So, but it was awesome. Shout outs to like as well. Like it seemed like everyone was more organised. What was the name of their MC again? The new MC, something O'Keefe.
Sean.
Sean or Shane O'Keefe, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it's Sean.
Yeah, I enjoyed him. Like, did a good job in that as well. So
Yeah, very well dressed as well.
As you would be.
Should be.
So get on to the first match anyway. The match that OTT never had. Sammy D versus Be Cool.
I know, right?
A good back and forth match as well. Like, and they did talk. It seemed like they did hint a bit about what happened in OTT with their rivalry. There was very good heat generated from Sammy D, who was who at one stage was stomping away at Be Cool, asking him who's nasty. Like, which might sound like something else if it was if we didn't describe it, but the fact is, like, it was still a good back and forth match. They were still, like, I think that all the memories were coming back as the match went on. And the end, then it was Sammy who pinned Be Cool after a super kick counter after a crowd influenced springboard attempt by Be Cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay, should I go for it? Okay, jump, super kick, over.
Yeah.
So
really good opening match. They got the crowd going. They involved the crowd a lot too, which was good. So they could feel a part of the show, and it was a great way to keep it going after that.
Indeed, yeah. The next match was Clayton Long and Martin Steers take on the Enterprise, aka Luke Cullen and Liam Royal. This was a very good match.
I was so impressed by this match.
Martin Steers has only wrestled. It's only his third match.
Yeah.
And he has incredible composure. He seems so comfortable in there. He's very he's like J Money in the sense that he's very confident and very, very sure of himself. And when you get these, he's much younger as well.
Yeah.
Don't know how old he is, but I imagine he'd be late teens, early 20s. But and he's almost a natural in there. And move for move, he was grand and he made up for, let's say. So, even from the first match he had with Phil, back in the Joes versus Bros match, like it seems like he's getting so much better already. So,
exactly. And once again, he's one of these guys that it's just scary how talented they are. You know?
Again, it's great how he's an example of how they've all stepped up big time for sure.
Yeah.
Clayton Long, big shout out to him. He is probably as technically for me, like when you consider how fast he moves and how gutsy he is for a lot of his movesets, but also how slick some of his work is as well. Like, so
he has a kickboxing background or something, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
As far as I'm aware, I think he does. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Liam
Taekwondo, I think it could be actually.
Probably, yeah. Liam Royal, like shout out to him because he made the small guys look small because he showed freakish strength. He just picked everyone up effortlessly.
Liam
Royal
as the big guy is just fantastic. Love it. I remember that I think it was it could be maybe 2 years ago at this stage. I was recording a documentary and Liam was part of it.
Okay.
Was there too, and on the day they helped me go through a few wrestling moves, and I remember, and he was a pretty tall guy, and since then he's packed on so much like muscle mass. And he just fits the bill so perfectly.
And here's how he responded to it. Here's how he showed off his strength. At the time, me and Ali was beside me like for the first half of the show, and we were teasing their attire because we ended up creating a chant, "Sisters Pants."
Yeah.
He just picked him up and had a workout. Sisters Pants, Sisters Pants, Sisters Pants. That's how
you will interact with a crowd, and that's how it will work.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So he did very well for that. Lots of great high flying from everyone, and not just Long, but Steers and as well. Made some good efforts with that. But in the end, it was Steers who picked up the win, pinning Cullen after his rock shandy driver for the win in the very interesting match.
I do need to point out there was one thing, and it's mean and cruel to laugh, but I did.
What?
At one point, I think it was both Steers and Long went and did a suicide dive out to the two lads. A trailing leg caught one of the kids in the front row and gave him a little bang on the head.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, is this one of the dives that went to our right side, was it? Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And the kid was alright for a second, then he realised it hurt and kind of started crying. And
oh, no.
He was fine, so I didn't feel so bad, but I was kind of mean and I had a giggle at it. I was like, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when you sit at the front row. You might get a little whack in the head.
You have to move as fast as possible.
The man was laughing at it too, so it was fine.
But it was a great match anyway. LJ Cleary then, we didn't mention actually the Be Cool and Sammy D match. That was their first qualifying match for their grapple games that they're having.
Yeah.
The second match was between LJ Cleary and apparently my American doppelganger
Air
AXX.
American love child. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but apparently he looks like me, according to LJ. AXX, very entertaining match. LJ is as entertaining as always. Like, he's very good at interacting with the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's a typical type of match where the foreigner picks up the heat, like, you know. So, like, he's saying, oh, you know, it's my first time in Ireland, but it's a crap hole and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
In the end, it was LJ who pinned AXX with a Kinshasa-like knee. And
Shining Wizard.
It looked like a Kinshasa for the way he threw it, like the way he went about it. LJ then he went for the camera, like, afterwards, saying he intends to regain because he's the former champion going into this, like, so.
Exactly.
So
he was the longest reigning champion as well.
Oh, was he?
I think so.
Absolutely. So he has all the right intentions to go back now. One of the most entertaining matches of the whole show, another 5 Grapple Games qualifier, was the over-the-top rope battle royale.
Who doesn't love a battle royale?
No, let me see if I can get all the names right. This is for all 18
Good
entrants.
luck. I'm just going to sit here and going to sip from my bottle of water. You go ahead.
Dimitri Krakovic, Cowboy Jim West, Ian Hellboy Holland, Shay Hurley, Jay Money, Adam Farrell, Jean Bernard, Raylan Sane, Connor Day, Leah the Rebel, Dylan Locke, Katie Harvey, Brad Lelas, but I heard he's down as Fabio or something like that. Devin West, Justin Daniels, Dom Tuck, Jason Staines, and Phil Boyd. There you go.
Well done.
Really, it was a crazy match. Like, at one stage, I want to make shout out to particular wrestlers. Like Krakovic, I thought was awesome.
Yes.
Like, especially because he has a gimmick now where he's the foreigner. He's basically the Khabib of Irish wrestling.
He actually looks a bit like Khabib as well.
And but what I loved about this match is when he was in the final 4, he did his like and he got a huge pop, and we're trying to encourage it. But he's actually a very sound wrestler as well. Like solid fundamentals there. Yeah. Cowboy Jim West, I love his gimmick as the cowboy.
Oh yes.
Doing the yeehaw when he's on top, and like, again, he seems very technically sound as well. So awesome to check him out. I mean, I'd love to see more of Ian Holland now, like going forward his gimmick, like, cause his gimmick. I'd love to see. There's a lot of things he could do with different people, such as J Money, for example. Yeah. And speaking of J Money, there's no man more over than him, probably at Fight Factory. In wrestling, Irish wrestling.
In Irish wrestling at the moment, is there anyone more over?
Let's see. There's Jordan.
Come on.
I don't know, actually.
Come on. Really?
Probably not.
Maybe, possibly the more than hype lads. LJ is really over at the moment.
Yeah.
So are the other. So is Darren and Nathan.
But he's definitely up there. Maybe.
Yeah.
Raylan Sane, who made her debut, like, she really surprised me. She had a promo video going into this show.
Yeah.
And
it was a good promo video, like.
Indeed, yeah. And she came in straight away, did a hurricane. I'm like, oh God, where did she come from? So it goes to show you how much more that the female division now is developing now. So she has everything going for her there. Obviously, it's great to see Katie Harvey as well, like, you know, and she just came in and chops the hell out of everybody. Apparently, I heard she had this gimmick where she's trying to chop all the men or something like that.
Everybody did. I think one person didn't. I think it was who was it that didn't? I think it was Justin Daniels didn't. He was saying that I think he was the only one that escaped the chop from Katie.
Justin Daniels did very well, actually.
He did really well.
He's only 14 years old, you know that?
Don't say that stuff's just disgusting.
What's the term again? Disgustingly young.
Disgustingly
But
young.
what I'm really impressed about him in particular is that he interacts a bit with the crowd as well. He for a man of his age, he's very confident. He seems very confident in his abilities. So I think that's awesome to see. Who else? Obviously, Dom Tuck. We have to mention him.
Of course, Dom. Different entrance music, I think, as well.
Well,
he had at OTT.
No, I think he had. Well, I think he has Notorious B.I.G. only for OTT, and then.
Oh, does he? Okay.
I don't think he had when he came out for the last show. He didn't actually have an entrance theme as such. I don't think.
That's true. And
then obviously Phil Boyd. You gotta love a bit. You gotta love this Mr. Small Package.
Mr. Small Package. Where you could get his merchandise at the merch table.
In the end, though, it was between Krakovic, Tuck, J Money, and Phil Boyd in the final 4. It was J Money then who won the Battle Royale after last eliminating Boyd. And again, another terrific performance from. Again, he's probably the most over wrestlers of. Yeah, he's probably the most over wrestler definitely one of the most over wrestlers in Ireland at the moment. I was going to say that night, but we haven't mentioned the main event yet.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll move on in the meantime. Another qualifier, Michael May against Scotty Davis. Legit 100 versus Legit 100. And probably, arguably, the two best pure wrestlers.
This was who... I can't remember who mentioned it, and I'm sorry for who did, and I can't give you the props, but they put on a wrestling clinic
exactly, because it's probably the two best pure young wrestlers in the country right now. When you actually talk about a proper like pro wrestler, like in terms of technique and stuff like that, these two are the cream of the crop right now. Certainly have the young wrestlers right now, they're like, or the up and comers, or the guys who are maybe lower than 20. I'm not going to mention age anymore because it probably depresses the both of us, but at the same time,
a little bit, especially because I have my birthday coming up soon, so I don't need to know that stuff.
I'm turning 30 soon, so you're grand. Well, next year. But anyway, there's plenty of nice sequences, awesome crisp match. Like, it was really exciting, and in the end, so it was May who pinned Scotty after multiple roll-up attempts, locking that third one then, where you notice the difference in that third one, so where he locked in that leg and like, oh, I got you now.
Yeah.
And there was a good match. Both men showed respect afterwards. Brilliant match.
Of course,
awesome
they didn't
stuff.
Forget that they're teammates, so that's a good thing.
Indeed. Now, Valkyrie took on Debbie Cattell, which apparently was their first meeting for a show now, like as far as I'm aware anyway. Oh, yeah? Terrific match. Would love to see a rivalry between these two down the line in the future, because I think at the moment they're both faces. Yeah. Well, certainly in OTT it seems like they're both faces, but that could change, like, depending on storyline. Like, we'll get onto that when we talk about Defiant later on. Yeah. But awesome match. Valkyrie in the end though pins Debbie with an axe kick, or springboard axe kick I think it was, and then her trademark standing moonsaults for the win. In the end, then Rick Nash announced that after the match that Valkyrie has also qualified for the Hunger Games, which makes now their upcoming show, which I think is happening in July. They announced details only this week. That'll be a fatal 6-way for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship, which will now involve Sammy D, LJ Cleary, Michael May, Valkyrie, J Money, and of course defending champion Jordan Devlin. Yes. So
that'll be at episode 6. I think August they were saying. Was it that's what they were planning?
I think so. Yeah, something like that. Should be awesome. And finally, the main event: Collar and Elbow versus More Than Hype versus the Soldiers of Fortune versus the Super Nintendo in a 3 stages to hell for the resurrected Irish tag team titles. Yep. This was, I can't even describe how good this match was in general, but especially, like, it's one of these matches, like, you're so emotionally invested in it, especially towards the end. Like, it gripped everyone. Like obviously we have to give a shout out to the Soldiers of Fortune, Sean Lucas from the Netherlands and Andrei Ivanov from Russia. Like, they're based in Netherlands. Great showing from them all. Very technically sound team. Yep. It was Nintendo who eliminated first after Lucas pinned CO3 after a power bomb. And then the second fall was a table match. The first fall was straight wrestling, and it was the Soldiers of Fortune who were eliminated in the table match after More Than Hype powerbomb / top rope clotheslines Lucas through the table. And it was interesting because what I liked about that match is that they seemed like the table was not set properly, and then they were teasing it a lot as well, which made that match very interesting. Yeah,
the proper way to do a tables match, where you have these so many near falls that you think they're going through now. But no.
But especially because the table was deliberately not set up properly. That's what made it more of a tease as well. But this is the part that grips everybody's hearts. I didn't even see this happen. I don't think anyone in the crowd did either. Like, I certainly didn't spot. I don't know about yourself. But in between falls, Justy hits Nathan Martin in the back with a sledgehammer. Yeah. To very dramatic scenes, to the point where half the roster, like, usually by main events time, like, and I've seen this from the last show, the entire locker room is in the sides checking out the main events. The locker room was empty. And when they saw him down, first I think it was Klong, and then Katie followed with the most worried look on her face, and then basically half the roster came around to check Nathan, and then you thought, oh my god.
Yeah, there was a
I think the ref exited as well.
Yeah, the ref threw up the X sign straight away. There was a moment when that was happening, and you can never tell whether if it's a work or whether if it's actually really going on. But I had a look at, and this was brilliant on the part of Justy and Dean, that they had these horrible shocked looks on their faces, as if they are right, we've really effed this up.
That's what I was thinking. The whole time I was thinking to myself, this has to be a work. There's no way. Yeah. I'm not just saying that because, like, everyone else could have thought it was real. I generally thought, like, oh, they're doing this so well. They're getting half the roster together. Here's Nathan, who's trying to reach again. He wants to get back. He's making all these noises. Yeah. But then you see, I saw Dean making, like, a very, oh no, what have we done face? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. And maybe, and I questioned it, Stan. I'm thinking, this is, I was convinced it was working until I saw his face.
Exactly. exactly. That's where
Then I wasn't sure.
that's where it was sold for me when I saw them, and they had the confused look as if what's going on.
And here's Nathan, and God bless Nathan's family. It was at the back row, I think, of one of the sections, and the grandmother and his brother were in tears.
God
bless them.
His nanny was, and this is where I felt sorry for, or I felt not felt sorry. I feared for the well-being of Justy. Was she got up and she was going towards that ring, and she was going to confront someone, and then Lee eventually had to come out and calm her down.
Yeah. So that's when we knew. That's when we knew.
Yeah,
that's when we knew for sure. Like, you know, like reassuring them or stuff like that. But like, at the same time, you could have thought to yourself, oh well, you're probably just, you know, reassuring. Oh no, listen. Like a bit of ice and stuff like that, but at the same time, like, and it's funny as well because I heard Low Blow's Rick's point of view of this when he went backstage, because he wasn't sure. He actually generally thought he was hurt. Yeah, he wasn't sure. Like, and then he had to go back and actually check. Does anyone need an ambulance? And then just when all that part of the roster went, we got you. So, and he couldn't come back out until you removed the smile off his face. So but here's where it got effective as well. Like, then Martin came out crawling to the ring here, and
after Darren has taken a beating, by the way.
Yeah, Stone Cold's WrestleMania 17 beaten, or Rocket WrestleMania 17 beaten, like numerous steel chair shots. It was very similar to that as well. Yeah. But then Martin came out again, and this is where you'd think as well that like where you become emotionally invested, where he walks to the ring, and here's Katie demanding that she comes back, and he pushes her back, saying, "Get away from me! I'm finishing this match." That's when you become so emotional. I think
he had a heat pad strapped to his back as well, or
something like that.
Yeah.
But it was and the ending was just amazing. Like, it's one thing to like imagine to go to land on something with foam tacks, because imagine like the adrenaline will kick in. But here's Lego. The crowd reacted to it like, oh my god. Yeah. It was one in the end though when Darren and Nathan superplexed Justy onto the Lego and then finishing Dean off with a double hook pile driver / super kick for the title.
Yeah, that finishing move was killer, by the way. I love it.
Yeah, and to a straight standing ovation. It was such a perfect ending, and it was such a perfect match. That for me is the best Irish match by far and away.
That's definitely up there, match of the year.
It is match of the year so far. Not even no. There's not a match close to that right now. And we've seen some awesome matches as well. Let's bear that in mind. So, and this tops it all because it's one of those matches that you just get emotionally involved.
This is now because you've seen more wrestling over the last weekend than I have.
Yeah,
it's definitely match of the weekend for you.
100%.
No touching.
100%.
Good.
Not even there's nothing else even close.
Good. I'm delighted I was there for it then.
Absolutely. I know, and there was some fantastic matches that we're going to get onto now with other cards, but like, but you have to respect what Fight Factory have done in the sense that like they've really stepped up their game. They want to now become like up there with the top promotions. Yeah, and they have did that, and now like that show like is going to be one of the most talked about, like obviously one of the most talked about in the whole weekend, which isn't an easy feat considering all the other shows that happened this weekend.
That was on,
exactly. Especially in Ireland, when you look at like Martina's Gaff Party and which is Martina leaving now for Japan, which is fantastic for her, and then Defiant, which is a history making event, and this is right up there. Yeah. I can't say, like, I don't know if it's fair to say it's the best show overall, like, because, like, all of them are certainly, have all had very positive contributions, but that one is the one that is probably the biggest, oh my god. Yeah. Like, all the rest of them are, like, is history making in a sense, or it has a particular specific event, but this one just creeped out of nowhere and kicked us in the ass. That's the way I could describe it.
Came out of nowhere. I'd say more kicked you in the face.
Literally.
Would you? Why would you say that?
Kicked us in the face.
Kicked you in the
pile
face.
drive us in the head and put us through Lego.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's nothing there to say. So we honestly, from everyone who worked in that show, kudos to you guys. Big round of applause. We'll join together with that because it was a class show top to bottom, and I really cannot wait to see what you guys have in store now for July. So
exactly.
So awesome show. Like. Real credit where it's due. We'll continue our reviews now. We'll now move on to Martina's Gaff Party. Had to be done, obviously. Like, personally, I prefer this to Maniac 2000, but that's just me. So, tell me about yourself.
I'm partial to Maniac 2000.
Really?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, this does it more, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, OTT Martina's Gaff Party 3. The first time OTT were in the Tivoli since November of last year. And it's so strange because when you walked in there, like, I was talking to a few of the regulars who always go, like Amy and Ali and Snape and all that. Mm-hmm. And they're all telling me, God almighty, we haven't been here since November. It's so strange. But it's like a nice family reunion when you go there. Like, it's thinking, oh, this is what it was like. Yeah. This is it. Like, you know. And despite all the people who are maybe complaining, maybe that they have problems seeing and stuff like that. Like, I can't really see that point of view, obviously, because I try to my best to get to either the front or ringside, like, for the best view possible as you would. Like, but at the same time, it's like a spiritual home sort of thing. Sort of what we talked about with PWG, like leaving Reseda, like, you know, it's going to be strange when it's all gone, but at the same time, it is what it is, and it's nice to be back.
I say I was. Sorry, I wasn't there,
No,
so I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, we'll get on to before the whole show started. William J. Humperdinck revealed. What's up?
Well, seeing as...
Oh, yes, of course.
Seeing as I didn't get to make to any of the shows, unfortunately, well, the preconceived mindset I have for that I said earlier on, if I can't get a seat, I don't go. I couldn't go on the Sunday because I had prior engagements that I had to stick to. But
you're naturally busier man than me.
Going to start off a new feature on the show.
Yeah.
So Dave, from okay, so I can't look at both shows because unfortunately, the Defiant show at the time we're recording today hasn't been put online yet.
Indeed, yeah.
So, give me a match from the Gaff Party. Right now.
Right.
And I'll get it up here.
Right.
And I will give you rolling commentary on the match of what I think. Like, the sound will be off, so unfortunately I can't hear our Irish David Attenborough talk. So, yes. So, tell me a match. What match?
The Fatal 4-Way.
Fatal 4-Way, so for the general neutral title.
Indeed, that's the one.
Right, so give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to get this up here now. I have OTT on demand open here.
Okay.
So, let me see. Okay, so it's probably, I think it was later on in the night, wasn't it?
It was co-main events, so it was before the main events.
Okay, cool. So
main events was Devil and Angelico.
Okay, so I'm going to here I have it here now. Oh, okay, so I have it here just as... LJ it has made his entrance, okay? So you can see the bleh everywhere.
Perfect.
Bleh is everywhere.
All right.
Everyone else seems to be in the ring. Okay, so you go ahead, you talk about the show, and I will randomly shout things when I see it happen.
This is going to be so funny. Pre-match anyway, before the whole show started, William J. Humperdinck came out revealing Tony Kelly, who is now the co-commentator with Angus, as his brother-in-law. And that's apparently how we got the gig.
She has a can-do stick.
And Don's official, and basically announced Tony as Don's official replacements. And there's funny chants in between because, like, obviously, like a lot of people still miss Don, and they're doing funny chants of Don did Tony's sister and stuff like that. Like, to the point where here's Foxy and Butch who are laughing at the side, like so. I think at one point they called William Essie shoes. I obviously can't say the detail word, but you can imagine. You're not even listening to me. This is weird.
Just no. Oh good God, he has nunchucks.
He has nunchucks, yeah. That was a funny bit. They have a duel there.
Martina just cheap shot TK with the can-do stick.
Yeah.
That looked like a hurt as well. I don't think he definitely wasn't expecting that. Can-do stick versus nunchucks.
Yeah. Butch.
Oh!
So weird.
LJ Cleary, more like the Bruce Lee Cleary.
Oh, I like it. Butch was in a onesie as well, like if you didn't see that, like during that as well, which is a nice touch. But anyway, the first match was an NLW tournament title tournament qualifier. So the winner of this match will be taking on Scotty Davis at the NLW title tournament starting in a few weeks' time now over the Ringside Club.
Yes.
Between Chris Ridgway and El Fantismo.
El Fantismo, yes. He has probably the craziest entrance I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's very. It's like if Prince Devitt back in the day was a DJ.
Yeah,
Sort
it
of like
actually
that.
reminds me
Or
of.
if we made a trip to beef or something like that.
It reminds me of. I remember years and years ago. I used to listen to Enter Shikari,
Right.
and they had these like finger laser things for their gigs,
Oh yeah,
and that's where I get that from.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But Chris Ridgway, he's like Liverpool's answer to Kota Ibushi. I'm not sure if he's from Liverpool. I think he's around that area. Like, I think that's where he's from. But he has a very... The way he throws his kicks, I'm not sure about... He doesn't obviously do all the crazy moonsault stuff or anything like that. But his technique, his striking in particular, remind me like a lot of that. Very well controlled high flying from both men, but especially El Fantasmo, who... His party trick in this, where he did like a 3-rope old school. So basically, he started on one turnbuckle, walked across the whole rope, walked across the second rope, walked across the third rope until he eventually, I don't know what he did in the end, I think it was a clothesline or something like that. So it was an awesome match, very competitive. In the end, though, it was Ridgway who submitted El Fantasmo with a counter to the rear naked choke. I think they were trying to do a slam, and it's very similar to the way Shayna Baszler does her naked choke, if it's a reversal or if it's done from a suplex. So it's a very class finisher. Very good match. Both men showed respect afterwards, so good show there. How are we getting on the match now?
TK is definitely the toughest man I've ever seen in a pair of dungarees.
Well, he is Samoan.
Yeah.
Duncan Disorderly from Kingston North took on Adam Brooks. Like, here's the thing. Chris Ridgway, his gimmick is like he has a black belt in being hard as F.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan Disorderly is the sensei of that. Because by God is he scary sometimes.
Yeah.
And especially at the start of this match where he basically was trying to go through Adam Brooks. But Adam Brooks is this type of guy. He generates heat very well in the sense that he tries to play off the crowds, but he tries to interrogate and tries to look for the cheap shots.
Oh, no.
What's happening now?
Oh, LJ tried to go over the top rope to get all three, but they caught him, and he went headfirst into the side.
Brooks won in the end, though, after a cradle following a low blow as Foxy was blinded. So it continues the losing streak, not just the Kings of the North, but of the tag team, but also in general as well. So we'll get onto that later on. But meantime, Zach Gibson made an open challenge because he's obviously in a big high right now. He's co-tag team champions at the moment. And he would continue on to huge boost, once again slating Irish wrestling, saying that there's no one left.
That's just a waste.
What?
TK is using baking trays on Janela's head. Stop breaking them on the head. You can make some fine chips with those things. You do not have to break them over a person's head.
They're replaceable.
Make some chips. Do something, you know. Heat the pan up, then hit them.
He's Anthony McCain's.
She has a big bottle of Stella.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Gibson made an open challenge then to it, and Michael May answered the challenge. And this was a terrific match. Like in terms of we talked about how Michael May had such a great match with Scotty Davis. This was right up there as well because the technical sequences were just so good. Mm-hmm. There was even like at one stage a ground and you know how you see ground and pound in MMA. It was a ground and chop fest where I think they were both in a handstand where their legs were tangled and they're trying to chop each other even while they were on their hands and stuff like that.
Ooh, Janela just took Martina's head off with a super kick.
Yeah,
the crowd are still looking for the head.
So yeah, but again, it was a really close match. Michael, as you can imagine, was still over as hell.
No,
what's going on now?
You put that away. You put that away, Joe.
Put
it away.
I know what's going to happen here.
Why has he got a... No, he's got a sash and he's got a staple gun. No.
I know what's going to happen here. This is awful.
No.
This hurts to watch.
Ah! Ah!
You're watching the bits where Martina gets her sash stapled on her head.
Ah! Why would you do that to the host of the Gaff party? She invited you to her Gaff party, and you do that to her?
I actually wouldn't have it any other way. Gibson eventually...
Some people bring cans. Some people bring a bottle of wine. You don't bring a staple gun.
There's no rules in 4 ways.
There's no rules in Martina's Gaff party, I guess. Well.
Gibson eventually won the match by submission via his Shankly Gate submission, which is like a reverse arm lock. Mm-hmm. Despite a strong effort from Michael May, it was a very competitive match. But despite Gibson's obvious fatigue after the match, he still called the match easy work. Still getting all that heat, and here's me going that this is how much heat you're going to the point where I'm with the lads beside me and they're like, yes.
Like you're warming your hands.
Indeed. Now Scotty Davis took on Mark Haskins. Now this match, I don't know if you've seen the preview for the YouTube video preview for this, but But both men,
Yes, I did.
but both men are so beloved that they had a chant off at the start.
Yeah.
Where it was Scott, let's go, Haskins, Scotty, Davis. That went on for like a solid minute and a half to 2 minutes until. It's one funny thing. Like I thought, like I was talking to Butch during the Fight Factory show, and
Oh, it would be, yeah. It's Easter time. She would have an Easter egg. That's cool.
it gets better than that. Wait until they say. There's a bit though. What happens though when where I think it was during one show where they're having a chant off between the two, and I think Butch hinted about saying "Go banana." No, and looking back, I wish I said that in between that, because that would have been so funny after a huge chant off and some of the crowd just goes "Go banana." But it was
What the hell was in that egg?
there was thumbtacks in that egg.
What?
They're all over the floor. Did you not see them?
I'm looking at it now. Why would you do that?
Because people get suplexed on thumbtacks and chocolate.
Lee is going to be taking thumbtacks out of his hair for the next week.
It was a terrific match, though. Great psychology in this match, because it's like the young up
Oh
and
no, she's
comer.
going to do a Wilmstone. No!
Oh. It was a great match, though. It was great psychology because it was like the young up and comer of Scotty Davis against trying to prove himself against the more seasoned former champion in Mark Haskins. It was very similar in a way to the Gibson versus May match, except they were both faces going to this. If that makes sense. In the end, though, it was really back and forth. Like Davis was more than a handful for Haskins, but in the end, it was Haskins who won by a 3-limbed sharpshooter, forcing Scotty to tap. So he had the sharpshooter, but he had the arm trapped as well, and forcing the other arm for Scotty to tap. Now, here's where it gets interesting. After the match, it looked like they're both like looking at each other thinking, they're going to show respect, but Haskins then refuses to show Scotty respect, demanding he leaves the ring. Scotty wasn't happy about that at all. He gave him the middle finger and then legged it because he was he left a bitter taste in his mouth. Before Haskins went on ranting about how he never got his rematch against Jordan Devlin.
Oh!
What's up now?
Sorry, Janelle just flipped off the top rope and then, in the same sequence, German suplex LJ.
This is like
Unbelievable.
This is like Pro Wrestling Saturday right now.
Unbelievable. It's a German off. It's a German off.
How can I describe the situation? It's like I'm Jeff Stedding and you're Paul Merson or something like that.
Oh, this is definitely Soccer Saturday.
Pro Wrestling Saturday.
I would like. I'd prefer to be the Chris Kamara instead of the Paul Merson.
Okay, it works for me. I'm not hearing any unbelievables from you. But anyway,
unbelievable, Dave.
And anyway, it was what happened was so he, as I said, Haskins was he was disappointed. Obviously, and he was ranting about how he never got his rematch with Devlin, and disapproved of the fact he spoiled the main event of Scrappermania by saying it was going to be Zack Sabre Jr. who will be facing Devlin at Scrappermania. But he disapproves that because he feels he skipped a line just because he's New Japan, stuff like that. And here's him who had a serious back injury and fought his best to get back in, and how OTT is his number one promotion to wrestle in, and he said that they can all go F themselves. So he was really angry about the whole
Haskins
thing.
gone like full heel now, is he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. You know, Mark Haskins is a very good heel. I've seen him as a
He's
heel
got
in
that heel
progress.
face and heel mannerisms.
He works
anyway,
as both, yeah. So he's like the badass face. But
I think he just recently turned heel in progress as well.
Oh, he's been heel for a while in progress. See, where he teamed up with him and
Jimmy Hammock and I think his wife. Now,
yeah,
Vicky
Vicky Haskins. They won the tag titles as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they're champions anymore, but I'm not sure, but they definitely won at one stage. What's up now?
TK just broke a chair, doing a Samoan drop on Janela.
Yeah.
So it's chair and thumbtacks.
Oh,
no, that's not a good combination.
The next match was Kings of the North against the Angel Cruisers in an OTT tag title eliminator. The winner will face the Rapture at Scrappermania. Now, all four men showed respect for each other at the start of the match, because last time they faced each other was that 6-way match involving Joey Janela and Owen, who else? And Duncan Disorderly as well. And so they respected each other's talents and stuff like that. And then straight away, listen, we respect each other, but one of us has to go through. And then it went from there where they started popping balloons at each other's heads. There was a part of the match where they went straight into the outside, and there's balloons set up because it's Martina's Gaff party. I don't know who hit who's with the head. I think it was
Bonesaw to
Be Cool. I think
Be Cool. Yeah.
They hit the balloon against the
Top
head.
of the night, they said.
Way.
Not my joke. Sorry, it was Bonesaw's.
Be Cool. A lot of really good spots in this match. Be Cool springboarded from the ring into the crowds. An Angel dove from the crowd floor, saving Team P. Rick from Kings of the North because they were getting chased away because they tried to attack them. After and then Bonesaw suplex Cool back into the crowd from ringside, so a lot of shock and awe with all those spots there. Towards the end then, it was Bonesaw and Corvin who were arguing because Bonesaw was getting over aggressive rather than getting the win. Here's Bonesaw saying, lads, listen, stop, we need to get the tree. And here it was Corvin stomping away in the end. Angel then kicked Corvin into Bonesaw and then finished Corvin with a brainbuster / super kick. A new move, they said, for the win. And now it'll be the Angel Cruisers to face the Rapture for the tag titles at Scrappermania. I'm not sure if you've seen this afterwards, but they showed a clip of the Kingston North after the match, and they
saw that, yeah.
where not just the two of them, but the three of them were arguing over their losses. So, yeah, it's going through. But here's the thing. It doesn't seem clear who's the bad guy in this, or who could be the bad guy in this.
I still think it's going to be Corvin.
Well, right now they're just both they're not on the same page right now. Like it's just one of those things. It's like
he's the youngest out of the three as well. He's probably the one that they've talked for a while as well about going on a singles run.
Have they?
Yeah. Well, OTD commentators have been saying it for a while as well.
Well, they've hinted how good he is anyway. Like that.
Oh,
what's up now?
A Samoan drop from the top rope, also with a electric chair from Janela. Oh, and then a fantastic frog splash from LJ. This is unbelievable, Dave.
You're actually deliberately gone to be Chris Kamara now at this stage.
I am.
No, but
Chris Kamara. Paul Merson. Why'd you call Paul Merson?
I don't know. I was thinking of one of those guys on the main seats, like Phil Thompson or Charlie Nicholas.
Not Phil Thompson. No.
All right.
Charlie Nicholas is like the.
You're noticing that point.
Exactly. I don't have the Scouse accent for it.
But but for me it doesn't seem clear yet of who's going through and that, like, so we'll have to wait and see.
What?
Of the Kings of the North, so we'll have to see what happens. Now, I could mention this next match because it is the 4-way now, but I think I'll get straight on to the main event first before I get onto that, maybe, if that's okay with you. Jordan Devon took on Angelico. Angelico, of course, for those who don't know, was a star in Lucha Undergrounds. Huge support from Devon with a variety of chants from, like, let's go Jordan Devon and stuff like that. Like, a lot of really good spots. It was like one in particular stood out was Jordan Devon moonsaulting onto the stage and then 450ing Angelico back into the ring. And then in the end it was Devon who won by the package pile driver in a very good main event match. Like, Angelico tried to put on heat in the end, like try and beat the guy who's trying to take away from the hometown guy, I feel like. In the end then, Devon went on a bit of a rant himself.
Poor Martina. Somebody give her a drink. She needs the fuel.
Devon then afterwards managed to challenge Haskins, who obviously went on the rants before that. And he also challenged Will Ospreay. Now, I don't know if you noticed yourself, Daragh, but Jordan Devon and Ospreay had a bit of banter on Twitter recently.
They did.
Where Will Ospreay said, "Oh, well, I'd love to face Devon one day." I'm like,
faced him in singles competition.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, I'm right here. And he also then, that could be, those could both be possible matches. And then he went on to announce his match against Sabre Jr., saying he doesn't care if you win the IWGP Heavyweight title. You better be coming ready to face me because I'm going to take your head off and stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome.
Update from the Fatal 4-Way, Dave.
What's up?
Janela has a table.
I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to get onto that match now. Like, obviously, one more thing when you mentioned about Jordan Devon. Unfortunately, he got a broken thumb, I think, which I'm not sure he got in that match. He got in
Friday at Fight Club.
Fight Club Pro. So
I started listening to the Joey. What? No, Joey, no.
You started listening to
Joey,
what?
no. Put the thumbtacks away, Joey. But no. Why would you put them on the table?
Because it makes it more painful, that's why.
No, I know that. I was like, why would you want to cause that much pain to another person? But yeah, I started listening to the OTT podcast, the second episode with Karen, or Session Mott and Jordan. Yeah. And Jordan talked about how he dislocated his thumb at Fight Club, but then he ended up breaking it by trying to put it back into place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fair play to him for trying anyway, So, but anyway, I'll get on to LJ Cleary.
Oh, this is not going to end well.
I'll go through what you just seen anyway.
Oh! Why?
It was awful, wasn't it?
Are you trying to make sure that Session Mott cannot go to Japan? Seriously. And that's it.
That's it.
LJ Styles in for the victory.
So let's just summarise what we just seen. So it was
Unbelievable.
It was
unbelievable scenes here at the end of this match.
LJ Cleary session with Martina, Joey Janela and TK Cooper for the OTT gender neutral title, recently won by LJ Cleary at OTT Contenders. I don't know if you noticed when you were watching that, but a very small section of the fans were booing Martina, and it was very small.
I have no sound on, so I can't.
Okay. No, but I don't think there was anyone booing after this match, and I'd be shocked if they were, because as you've seen there, LJ and Martina, they had a duel with a kendo stick and nunchucks. Terrific high flying in the match as well from everybody, as you probably noticed there as well. But then Martina took a beating, obviously, in this match. Like, I think she actually wanted to go into this match like as hardcore as possible, with Janela stapling her entrance sash onto her head. But LJ had it tough as well, as you said, as you've seen there, like getting hit in the head with the Easter egg filled with thumbtacks.
He got speared as well through a table on the outside.
Yeah, everyone got suplex on the thumbtacks and the Easter egg pieces at one stage, I bet, as well. The German offs, I think.
The German off.
Yeah. TK reminded Martina that who headbutted at one stage that piece of Moen before headbutting her back. Martina then also showed her resilience in the match as it progressed, and it turned into spot C at one stage with the German off, as you've probably seen there yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously you mentioned TK spearing LJ
it's the afterwards of this match right now, and it just did, like, they were focusing the camera on LJ, and Martina walked by it, and she still has some thumbtacks stuck in her leg.
Oh dear. That's probably why she was limping, actually, because she limped.
No, she was limping because she did her ankle in on the entrance.
As well.
On the entrance.
Did her ankle in the entrance, really?
Yeah, she rolled her ankle on the entrance. Again, from the podcast, I don't want to ruin it on you. Just listen to it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, that's a nice moment.
It is a nice moment.
They just hugged it out. Congratulating the new champ. That was a Paul Merson moment right there, not being able to pronounce my words.
So you have hints of them here and there. Like, let's see. So you have the mix up words of a Paul Merson. You have the enthusiasm of a Chris Kamara. You have the or Charlie Nicholas.
The charming good looks of a Charlie Nicholas.
You don't have loyalty for a certain wrestler, then that'll make you Phil Thompson.
Why is he loyal to just Stevie G or just Liverpool?
Liverpool in general. He's so angry when they lose.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. He's a fan.
Yeah, he's a fan. But
thanks for being a fan.
Indeed. In the end, though, it was LJ who picked up the win after Janela, as you've seen, gave Martina a Death Valley driver through a plastic table covered in thumbtacks to retain the title. And obviously, as you've seen, Martina had one last rave after the match to a huge ovation, and rightly so. And I think anyone who had any doubts about Martina going into this match, which I imagine there was a few people were going like, oh well, what's going on, like, you know, getting like we talked to Butch about how why she's getting all these boos over performances like that. Why on earth would she, like, you know, it doesn't make any sense. That's just my opinion now, like, and I'm not one to go on sides on that, but it just like makes no sense, you know what I mean?
I know, I totally agree. Never once wanted to criticize Martina for her performances in ring. She's one of the biggest draws in Irish wrestling. She proves it in the ring. I don't get why she gets the disrespect that she does, because it's not deserved. She's
arguably the biggest draw we've had in Ireland for the last homegrown draw in the last 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Arguably the biggest.
For sure.
Probably the
biggest. And she's one like making the most waves over in England. Obviously America she's going to start making waves in America now after this weekend, I'm sure too.
Sure, yeah. Who knows, she could be in being deleted sometime.
You know, and as well with going over to Japan to showcase her talents over in Japan as well. It's just like, it's people are going to, like, these people who boo are obviously wishing that they're wishing that she's not there, and like, be careful what you wish for, lads, because lads and ladies, whoever's doing it, I don't know exactly, but like, OTT is going to be worse off for not having Martina now in the next couple of months.
That said, their women's position is in a good position.
The women's position is, but for entertainment, and you want Martina on the shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will continue on with the results of the week with OTT Defiant after a short break.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grawlix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grawlix Podcast. Listen to it at grawlixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on the Kick Out to your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our results of the week with which was reflecting on the women's division the last bit. Now we're going to talk about it with the groundbreaking OTT Defiant. Great man, you have to be a great woman. So I couldn't help but sing along towards the end. It's a catchy song, and we hear it so often here on Near FM, especially because Sisters Doing It For Themselves by Susan Tumulty is a regular show here, so it's kind of stuck in our head. So we had to include it in this card, obviously. Like it's because, as we said, it's a historic show, like for Irish wrestling with this. It was so.
Yes, it was. Sorry, I didn't know you were waiting for coming back to me. Yes. A really historic, obviously the first ever all-female show in Irish wrestling history. And from all accounts, like I says, I wasn't there, but from all accounts, it looks like it was an unbelievable show with some unbelievable action, and can't wait for the Defiant 2 show. There
definitely should be a Defiant 2 after this. The first match was, obviously the first 3 matches were the qualifiers, or the eliminators, for the main event spots to challenge session with Martina for the OTT Women's title. The first match was between Sami Zayn against Nina Samuels. Now, Sami Zayn is from Scotland now, so she is her OTT debut. Yeah. And Nina Samuels was in OTT before. She took on Katie Harvey on that occasion. Now, Sami Zayn is actually, she's really doing very well in the Indies in the UK. She has 4 other women's titles to her name at the moment, including
the Austin Aries of women's wrestling at the moment, is she?
You could say that, yeah. She's the Pro Wrestling Eve Women's Champion. I don't know all the promotions now, if I'm brutally honest, but I think the Pro Wrestling Eve is the most significant she had up to this point. And this match, though, was a very good match. Nina Samuels seemed to largely dominate this match and was incredibly over with the crowd. They were chanting her the whole way. But some really good moves from some really, like, they went all out with the spots. There's this brilliant spot that Sami Zayn does where when she has Nina Samuels facing the ropes, where she's tangled in the ropes like this. Yeah. And here's Sami Zayn whose baseball slides between her legs and then catches her in the waist and German suplex her as she goes out. Like, that's such a unique move, like, so it was awesome. In the end, though, it was Sami who pinned Nina with a DVD/Michinoku sort of driver. So she picked her up for a Death Valley driver, but then turned it into a Michinoku driver. That makes sense. So Michinoku, Death Valley driver sort of version of it. I don't know what to call the move, but it was a class finish. It was. The second match was a really built up a rivalry that's been going all around the country at the moment between Raven Creed and Debbie Keitel. Another really tough, hard, and competitive match between the two. Like I love their rivalry so much. Like, you know, it really is awesome. Raven, it was both their first appearance in the table, but Raven in particular played the heel so well. The crowds really gave it to her, especially, I hate to mention this as well, but they sort of made reference to her being from Cork. Like, I won't say the chant, obviously, because it would be offensive, I think, but
what?
Well, they basically said, because she's from Cork, and this is probably a silly thing coming from Dublin, but he said, Cork's a kip and so are you.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to make offence by that for us referencing that.
It's a chant, isn't
it? But she took it back well anyway. It was all good. In the end, though, it was Raven who picked up the win after a backstabber to go through for that, and that was a bit of a surprise. I was almost expecting, or not expecting, but I was sort of hoping almost Debbie would get through. But Raven, like, is doing so well as well, so we can't really take it back from her either. So well done to them. Probably the match that sold the show from an Irish perspective was Katie Harvey versus Valkyrie in the final qualifier. This was by far the best match out of the qualifiers, and a real showcase match for both ladies, especially Valkyrie, because here's Valkyrie. We've talked about this many times. She's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in Ireland at the moment. But she's also probably one of the most talented as well, and this was a real showcase weekend for her, not just from Fight Factory, but also for this show, because this was a fantastic match from back and forth, because Valkyrie and Katie go way back.
Yeah.
Like, they're training partners, they've teamed up in all around the country in PW and so on.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome match. In the end, it was Katie who pinned Valkyrie with her gory special face buster. That's her finishing move. And it was a close but also a controversial pinfall. So because Justy got counted to 3 counts, but it looked like Valkyrie just put up her shoulder. But
who counted?
So it was Foxy, sorry, who counted to 3.
You said Justy there.
Sorry, I meant Foxy. Foxy.
I thought that was a bit weird.
Foxy counted to 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I get mixed up a lot. So Foxy counted to 3, but it looked like Valkyrie just kicked out almost at the last minute, but it counts as a 3 counts, therefore the match was over.
Yeah.
And Valkyrie's obviously a bit disappointed, but I'm thinking to myself, that could be something later on.
Mm-hmm.
That could be something later on. So
it could definitely be something later on.
Both ladies embraced after the match, though, and so it was good, though, all the same. And Katie was over. Katie was actually a face gone to this match, like, because the OTT crowd missed her big time. Of
course, yeah.
So,
and it'd definitely be up to her to sort of help carry the rest of the women's division forward.
Absolutely.
And especially since Martina is off to Japan.
Absolutely. Well, I can't think of anyone else better than her to do it as well. So, yeah. But like, I like Valkyrie what she said on Twitter as well. She went on a bit more about that decision. Like, so again, I think that could be something, or certainly she's created her own storyline with that. So that could be a good thing later on. Now, in a tag team match, Charlie Evans and Charlie Morgan took on Chris Wolf and Laura Di Matteo. Crisp wrestling from all 4 ladies. Like, there's one move I think where Charlie Morgan, when she, how you see so many unique like ways of getting out of the wrist lock.
Yeah.
She did one where she did like a sort of like a breakdancing pose where where it was just her head standing, or she was on her head like full pole, like pointing at her feet to flip out of it. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. So you just have to love Chris Wolf, though.
Yeah.
You have wait until you watch back at this, because Chris Wolf, she is the most adorable person known. Like, you just want to pick her up and put her in your pocket, like or something like that. Like because she's just so adorable. She's going like, arigato, how are you? And she's just so happy.
That was a terrible attempt at an accent there. I'm sorry, I had to call you out on it, Dave. It was terrible.
I'm trying to create a picture though. It was funny as well, because at one point she has this wolf's head that she carries to the ring. Yeah. And she put it on the 2 Charlies at one stage, attacking them. Like, that's the way she knows who she's attacking, by giving them like kicks to the back or the chest or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was confusing at one stage because Laura had the head on, and she almost attacked her because of it as well.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, sadly it's not you, and so on and so forth. And great high flying as well, like, from Wolf especially as well. So it was an awesome match. In the end, it was Wolf who pinned Evans after a top rope Meteora. Like, that Meteora that Sasha Banks would do?
Yeah.
Similar to that. Because she's like 5'0", like, and she just sits on people and that's a pin. And it was a great match. All 4 ladies were over as hell. Like so they're basically going, all these girls is a chance. So, and they all showed respect afterwards. So it was an awesome match all around. Now, the co-main event was Dash Chazako against Jordan Grace. First of all, I have to do an apology to Jordan Grace, because I was shaking everyone's hand afterwards. And while doing that, I accidentally knocked some of Jordan Grace's merch off her table. I was very apologetic and had to pick it back up. And she's like, "Oh, that's okay, don't worry about it." So, but it was a bit of an accident. But this was a class match, because imagine Asuka against Beth Phoenix. Here's Dash Chazako, is a very similar style, certainly in terms of striking, or the strong style of Asuka, as opposed to Jordan Grace, who's the powerhouse sort of wrestler.
Oh, okay, that's a good comparison. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome match, very back and forth. It was Dash who won the end with probably the most crisp frog splash I've ever seen. Now, when you look at frog splashes, wait until you see that match, because think of all the great frog splashes we've seen. Eddie Guerrero, Rob Van Dam, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Nathan Martin. But Dash Chazako's is up there, 100%. Probably the best I've ever seen.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it was such a brilliant match. Like, it was a match I'd love to see again. Love either or both of these ladies to come back again. So it was pretty awesome. But the main events. Now, I don't think this was announced, but the match's elimination rules for this. So it was Session with Martina, Raven Creed, Sami Zayn, and Katie Harvey for the OTT Women's title. Now, at the very start of the match, sort of as a April Fool's joke, if you like, or sort of, I thought it was an April Fool's joke when Engo said it. that Martina wasn't medically cleared to actually be wrestled, but she actually said, no, I'm still wrestling regardless. And we found out later that she sprained her ankle, as you said yourself, like she sprained her ankle from jumping off the stairs or something like that. So
during her entrance, she did.
During her entrance. But so here she was the night before, and what she do? The very first thing she did, started the match diving on everybody. All three of them on the outside. Sure, feck it.
Yep.
Up, roll, on top of everybody.
Yeah.
Sammy and Raven, though, played the heels very well. Like, here's Katie, who's very over now, but here's Sammy and Raven, who were doing very well. At one stage, they were attacking... here's Sammy, who was attacking Martina's injured leg with a chair, and then Raven attacking Katie with the chair, before they both double-teamed on Katie, following to chance to Raven with, I think it was blue hair, no fans, they said, or something like that. So
blue hair, no fans.
Lots of dives as well, even from Katie. Katie is not a lady who really apparently she was a diving wrestler before, or high flyer before, but she doesn't really do that anymore. But she did a bit of high flying as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and there's a really good spot when there was like a 4-way chop off, I think, between all four of them, and some of the chops from them, my God, Raven Creed's especially.
Yeah. She
can take her chest off with some of those chops, but they echoed around the whole arena. That was vicious. It really was. So Raven was eliminated first by Katie, following her gory facebuster. But then Katie was eliminated by Sammy.
Yeah.
Because Raven Creed attacked Katie after her elimination, and then Sammy went on to roll her up, to the disappointment of a lot and calls of BS from the crowds. Because they were almost expecting, at the very least, Katie to be the final person there.
Yeah.
So it was between Sammy and Martina. And eventually it was Sammy who pinned Martina with a super version of her DVD Michinoku Driver to win the title in a huge upset, because it was such a shock. No one expected it.
Yeah.
It was interesting, but there's a lot of debate about how it was booked as well afterwards. Like, some could argue that Martina could have been first out, but because she's going now, it's her last OTT card for whatever month, maybe it was best that she was the last one in. But then you have Katie, who everyone was excited for, and she could be the champion, and then Sammy could beat her to be last then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can't complain personally, it's...
I'll have
that's
to
being nitpicky.
Yeah, I'll have to see it before I can make a judgment call on it. So I'm not gonna say anything.
Of course,
yet.
Okay. But in the meantime, I think it's awesome that Sami Zayn is champion. Now, that's her fifth title that she's the reigning champion of at the moment. Now, I think OTT is probably her biggest one. But here's someone who's just came in her debut, and I'm really excited to see how she gets on now between now and then, because here's someone now who's going to have real heats from the crowd. Like, the crowd obviously don't like her. They took the title not only away from Martina but also away from Katie.
Yeah.
And after the whole match, then Martina thanks the fans, saying that she's going to be gone for a while. And then afterwards, all the face ladies who came out, so all the face wrestlers who came out, came out, and even the injured Jordan Devlin came out and joined her for one last wave after shows, and it was a nice moment.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to see Martina for a while, and we know how it's no secret, obviously, how close Martina and Jordan are away from wrestling, or while traveling together. So it's a pretty awesome moment. So there you go. And it really was an awesome card from top to bottom. Like when you consider, it wasn't even the biggest crowd, but even when you consider that it was an Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And
it had already been a show the night before as well.
It was not a bad crowd, though.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, how big is this crowd?" Because I came in early and I was like, "Oh wow, what's going to happen?" But it was an awesome show, and everyone who missed out big time, because it shows what kind of division the Irish has become as of late. Because I think Karen and Katie both said themselves it was only the two of them at one stage, and now they have Debbie Cattell, Raven Creed, Valkyrie, and all these other ladies coming in, like Sami Zayn, Nina Samuels, the women's division. We said at the start, it's in a very good position with or without Martina right now. So obviously Martina is a huge draw, but who said anyone else can be the draw instead of her? Like a Katie Harvey, like a Sami Zayn, like a Raven Creed or Debbie Cattell later on.
Exactly. That's the thing now. The door is now open.
Yeah.
Who's going to walk through it?
Indeed.
Let's find out.
Have to find out.
Yeah.
So congratulations to everyone involved. OTT in general for two awesome shows. So it was for us, it's a thrill to talk about so much Irish wrestling. So it's great for us. So we're gonna have one more extra bit now, before we move on to WWE, and that is our New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis. So away from Ireland, New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis, which took place on the Sunday morning, Irish time anyway. So some really interesting matches now. So like it's like really like in particular, like there's a lot of there seems like the Bullet Club story in particular is dominating a lot of what's going on there as well. But there were some awesome matches in this card.
For sure. Something that I haven't gotten to sit down and see either. I know I'm absolutely terrible for it.
No.
Sorry. So Bullet Club is definitely taking the brunt of the storyline and news-wise at the moment, and obviously it's going to come full circle this weekend. But it wasn't just Bullet Club. It was also, of course, with the main event, including two different factions of Chaos and Suzuki Gun come up against each other with Sabre Jr. and Okada. And of course, probably not have to mention the match that has taken all the headlines this week because of how good it was. Ospreay and Marty Scurll too.
Absolutely. We'll get onto that in a bit, but first of all, we'll go through some of the other matches as well. The Young Bucks, in another part of this whole Bullet Club Civil War angle, took on Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi, where it's still part of that war because here's Owens who's on Okada's, who's on Omega's side, and has really started tagging with Ibushi while Omega is away, but Matt is still wearing the weightlifting belts, while interesting enough Nick isn't. Yeah. So it's still, it seems like they're torn. They're still on the same page. Obviously, they're still with each other, but like they still divide on who there. Like before the match, they talked and exchanged handshakes, and before it was Yujiro and Owens that got on the way. It was an awesome match, actually. Very good opener. It was the Bucks with the rebound win, obviously after the loss to the Golden Lovers. And Matt is still selling his back injury. It continues to be an issue. Like, so I love how, like, if he's really injured, like, fair play to him continuing on, and if he's not, my God, is he selling it well. Yeah. So either way, it's commitments either way.
For sure. They are both, obviously the back issues have been going on for a while. It's been playing into the being the elite storyline as well as all the in-ring storylines for a while. So, this shows why these guys are one of the best tag teams in the world.
Absolutely.
I won't say the best because
one of the best.
Obviously, there's some other tag teams that have claimed that throne, that want to claim that throne as their own as well.
Definitely top three.
Yeah.
Nick and saved Mac from the package pile driver, but the Bucks hit super kicks, and then Matt locked in the sharpshooter. Nick then wiped out Yujiro as Owens tapped, and they all shook hands afterwards. So at least they're on the same page with the whole thing, but it still seems like the whole situation is more so between Cody and Omega, which obviously is going to come full circle at Ring of Honor, as we mentioned. Now, the team of Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii took on the Suzuki Gun team of Taichi, who's moved up to heavyweight recently. He's no longer a junior heavyweight. And Iizuka, who's basically doing the... I love his gimmick. He's doing the Bruiser Brody. Have you ever seen Bruiser Brody before? Now, Bruiser Brody was a wrestler who's an American wrestler, but was world famous in Japan, who had a very similar gimmick where he would go through the crowd, swinging a chain, almost hitting people with it. Yeah. Unlike Iizuka, he doesn't have bodyguards holding him back or anything like that. He hasn't got Kamaru or El Desperado trying to hold him back or something like that. He's basically gone wild around the whole thing. Okay. Basically emptying the ring and stuff like that. So, but like it was this was not the. Some people say this was a kind of a weird match, like in the sense that, like, I think because Iizuka is a character that probably is too pretentious, one could argue. Okay. Yeah, so personally, I think it was a good match, entertaining as always. There's no such thing as a boring Toru Yano match, let's put it that way. I find them incredibly entertaining.
That is very true.
It was Yano who fought off Iizuka's Iron Fingers. He has his Iron Finger, which he uses to hit people. It's like his version of nunchucks. But Taichi breaks it up and tosses the ref down. Low blow from Yano, lariat from Ishii, and Yano rolls up Iizuka for the win. We'll move on from that. The team of Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale defended the Never six-man tag team titles against Michael Elgin, Toga Makabe, and Rusaku Taguchi. Apparently, I found out why Bad Luck Fale goes after the announcers. It was mentioned on commentary because Bad Luck Fale 9 years ago was announced by announcer as Tama Tonga. And he And he hasn't forgotten or forgiven them since. That makes perfect sense.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
No, believe me, and I mean this with all disrespect, if I was a wrestler and I was announced as Daragh Maher, I'd go after the announcer.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to be announced.
No. If I was announced as Daragh Maher, or if you were announced as Dave Cullen, you'd be mad at the announcer, wouldn't you?
No, Dave, because I think it would be a great compliment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, it's not my name. You know? But that makes perfect sense. It was a perfectly solid match. Like, you know, I think the GOD and Spotlight Folly are terrific 6-man tag team champs. They make a great team, like Bullet Club OGs. In the end, it was it all broke down until Taguchi hit his ass attack and a 619 on Toga, but then Toga hit his gun stun for the win to retain the titles. Now, David Finlay, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi took on Goto, Jay White, and Yoshihashi. This is a build-up between Juice Robinson and Hiroki Goto. Now we talked about Juice Robinson being saved for will he be saved for the US title? He's actually going for the never openweight title against Hiroki Goto, whereas Dave Finlay's going for the US title. So it builds both those matches up going into Wrestling Dotaku that's coming up as the next show. And by God, it seems like Finlay can't stand the sights of Jay White all of a sudden, because he goes after him crazy.
So close, though. That's the crazy thing.
I know, like something fires them up, I think. So, like, it must have been something to do when they're in excursion or something like that. Like, because they're very close when they were young boys, I think. So
yeah,
it goes to show
they
you.
just took different paths. That's it.
But it was a good match, and it sets up a good sense of urgency and good interaction for both rivalries. In the end, it was a stunner on White, and they roll to the floor. But then Juice hits the pup friction on Goto, and he rolls to the floor. Then Tanahashi hits the high five flow on Hashi for the win there.
Yeah.
Now, continuing on, the team of Sonata, Evil, and Suya Naito took on Minoru Suzuki, Lance Archer, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. This is all to set up Suzuki versus Naito for the Intercontinental title, and LIJ, Sonata and Evil against Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith for the tag titles. All these matches are coming in. This had a very funny moment at the intro, where Davey Boy Smith Jr., when he's introduced in the ring, did have sort of like a strange flip in the corner.
Yeah.
Before he was introduced, which is kind of strange, because like he's the type of guy you wouldn't imagine flipping.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I'm trying to imagine.
Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Davey Boy Smith Jr. And I can't.
On introduction, and then he does a big flex.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's probably going to be on one of those videos, but it's very funny. And again, it was another good match. It sets up the both rivalries. In the end, it was Evil who saved the Killer Elite Squad from pinning Sonata, but then they hit the Killer Bomb on him for the win. And post-match, it was Naito who cut a promo calling Suzuki out for the IC title match and telling him that if he wants to fight to get into the ring, obviously gone all tranquilo as he does. Suzuki called Naito a piece of S and then proclaimed himself as the king of pro wrestling. Suzuki then killed a young lion before telling him to tranquilo. What's his average at this stage? 2 point something?
I say it's going closer to 3 now.
Something like
the
that.
amount that he's doing.
The IWGP Junior Tag Team titles between the defending champions El Desperado and Kane Maro defending against Roppongi 3K and Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi from LIJ. This is a good match though. I enjoyed it because for me, like, a lot of people are arguing then why can't it just be between Suzuki Gun and LIJ, because some are thinking why would because having 3K in it kind of spoils the dynamic because it's a 3-way match, but I'm thinking no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it worked for when it was Grizz of Destiny, War Machine, and Killer Elite Squads in the heavyweight tag team division, and I think it just needs to it'll get better as it goes along. Like, so I think it's the first time to do it, but if you do it more often, maybe it can work.
Possibly. I think when you mention the 3 teams, the GOD, Killer Elite Squad, and War Machine, they got a lot of criticism because they kept having matches in such a short space of time. Because I think it was 3 televised New Japan big shows, and that was the match. And the title kept changing over during that.
Oh, I see.
So I don't like. The thing is, we were only saying a couple of weeks ago that the junior tag team division didn't have any teams in it.
Yeah,
because it was the Young Bucks, and now the Young Bucks are gone. Obviously, Roppongi 3K are involved in it now, and so it's right that the more they have to start building these other teams.
Yeah.
So putting them all in the match helps build them and helps get them all there as title contenders.
You can make a shout as well that they could have Rapogi 3K, including Rocky Romero, going for the 6-man titles as well. I'm not sure about that.
You could, but I still think they're needed more in the junior tag team.
That's a good point, yeah. In the end, though, it was Ibushi hit a suicide dive and Takahashi grabbed Sho and gets the time bomb for 2. The Blu-ray followed, the time bomb again, but Kmart pulled out the referee. Desperado in with a belt shot, and the pinch loco on Sho followed for the win for that match. Now, one of the most talked about matches of the whole weekend. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, defending champion Will Ospreay against Marty Scurll, with Kushida in Japanese commentary. But by God, what really impressed me about this match is how slick Ospreay's technical wrestling has gotten. At one stage, they had a standoff, and Marty was so puzzled. Like, where does this come from? Like, because that's his bread and butter historically against Ospreay. Yeah. He slows down the pace.
British chain style wrestling, yeah.
But the point is, it slows down Ospreay's fast pace to his advantage. That's why he's notoriously more used to that. But it seems like now Ospreay, it shows his development of him developing to technical wrestling point of view as well. Yeah. But there were so many good spots in this match. Just like, obviously there's one that stands out straight away.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the show, but I definitely saw that spot where Ospreay landed on his head from the Spanish Fly.
Oh my God! But there was one stage, like the other spots included, where like he came in with neck trouble anyway. But he hit a springboard attack and a standing shooting star for 2. Other spots, like, obviously, like Marty countered a DDT, Ospreay countered a chicken wing into a stunner, boat her down, like but that Spanish Fly was absolutely, like, where and then I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so, I can't believe he didn't break his neck off that. Where it was off the apron, but he caught his head on the way down and busted himself open, and so that was just so nasty.
Yeah, the fact that he busted himself open as well, sure, that was crazy.
But he just got straight back up and in a corkscrew shooting star press. So, like, that's how mad he is, like, it really was. Like, in the end, though, it was Marty who was trying to attack the fingers and hit a super kick and stomped the bejesus out of Ospreay's neck and heads. Almost killed the poor guy. And then got the chicken wing, and that's how he won the title at Ring of Honor, the TV title. But this time, Ospreay barely made the rope.
Yeah.
Marty hit a neck breaker driver, but Ospreay countered out of the tombstone into a stunner before hitting the Oz Cutter for the win. Let's put it this way: it was Easter Sunday, and it was Will Ospreay instead of Jesus on the cross. Literally, the man had a death sentence on himself in that match. But this is one of those matches that you never get bored of, especially since they both seem to be improving. Certainly Ospreay, like, it's like one of these matches where it's like a Kevin Owens sort of against Sami Zayn sort of thing. You can never get bored of that match. Yeah, and it's like this one, and it shows how well rounded now Ospreay's become as a performer. Like, but God bless him. Like, he must have the attack. The attacks were vicious. Probably the most brutal match we've ever seen between the two as well. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, you really should check it out, though, because it was absolute fantastic match, excellent showing. Yeah, it broke the formula from their previous matches as well, like, because, like, in terms of aggressiveness and obviously the well-roundedness of Ospreay, as I mentioned, and it proved once and for all that Ospreay beating Scurll wasn't a fluke. So that's the first one-on-one victory that Ospreay has had over Marty Scurll ever. So it goes to show you.
Marty Scurll was the bogey man in terms of bogey team, and he's finally broken that mold, and I can't wait for a rematch for sure.
Then Ospreay, almost close to death, made a post-match promo calling out Kushida, saying he wants to prove to everyone that he's no fluke and wants to face off one more time, and Kushida then nods acceptance, gave him a thumbs up, and clapped for Ospreay. So it looks like it'll be down the line as well, and that's an opponent he's had a bit of a bogey record with as well, like, because he only beats Kushida recently to win his first title.
Yeah.
So he
lost some at the Best of the Super Juniors as well in the final last year. So.
Yeah, so he lost 3 or 4 matches in a row against him. So he wants to break that, or at least put his dominance on that now, if you like.
Yeah.
Now the Golden Lovers against Cody and Hangman Page, again part of the whole Bullet Club Civil War. Apparently it's going to be Ibushi against Hangman Page at Ring of Honor. Did you know that? Yeah, as well as Cody and Omega.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That was announced just last week, actually.
Cody plays the heel so well, because even when it looked like Cody and Omega at the start, he ponders off and getting the start and trying to avoid everyone straight away. Mm-hmm. So it works so well, like so. But like obviously the spot we have to talk about in this one, like where it wasn't just Ospreay who cut himself, it was also Cody, and a nasty one at that as well.
Yeah, it was a kick, wasn't it?
What happened was it was like Omega hit a spin kick, catching Okada in the eye, and then Page cut Omega open before knocking Ibushi to the floor, and he was busted up badly. Like it was literally
there was
a crimson
slit
mess
on the eye. Yeah, the blood everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you've seen this yourself, but did you see Disco Inferno have a go at him over this?
Called him out.
Over something that for me doesn't make sense.
No, he was saying that like
they don't know how to work anymore.
Yeah, because they're risking their bodies for cheap pops and stuff like that, and Cody pretty much just put him back in his place afterwards, saying, "Look, listen, you really can't say anything. No one has ever talked about you ever." Made light on the fact that he was made light on the fact of his steroid abuse, I think, at one stage.
I don't think he mentioned that. No.
No, I think there was one tweet. I think someone else did. Sorry, it might not have been Conan.
Even Conan reached his defense, like saying, "Well, it's a different way to work. It's not work and play. It's not work comparing, like So
exactly, and it's a perfect example of how, say, the likes of this. Like, I don't know a lot about Disco Inferno. He was a mid-card champion a couple of times. I saw in his bio on Twitter. So I guess he was never really the top guy, but like
I think
you last long in the industry because you're able to evolve and move with the times. Obviously, this is something that this guy couldn't do, and that's why he doesn't wrestle anymore.
He made a name for himself in WCW back in the day, like so. Yeah. That was then. This is now, I guess. So, but like but again, it was an awesome match between the two of them. Because it played off this feud very well. Not only Cody was not busted as sin in the ring, but he once again killed it in terms of his character work. His character work is spotless. He's easily the most hated wrestler in the world right now.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, he's the biggest heel in wrestling.
Not even close, and even the short angle with the Young Bucks involved as well, where they're like, "What's going on? This has gone far enough. Like, do you need to continue this?" I think I'm not sure what the spot was. I think it was when. Oh, what was it? There was a spot involving the Bucks. Oh yeah, it was when it looked like he was going to put Omega through a table and the Bucks were out, and Cody was like, "What are you here for? And you shouldn't be here." And the Bucks refused to shake their hands, and they both walked off. So not just Nick Jackson, who has more of an issue with Cody, but Matt Jackson as well. Yeah. So it would have been cool if they just threw the weightlifting.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming soon, and I'm loving the build up for this. We might see it tonight at Supercard of Honor,
possibly. Can't wait for that, actually.
No, I can't wait either. So much good wrestling this week.
Absolutely. In the end, it was Cody who avoided a knee strike. Ibushi hit the German, looked for it again, but Page distracted them, and Cody rolled up Ibushi with the help of the tights for the win. And again, perfect heats. Exactly. It really was. And the main events, Kazuchika Okada defending the IWGP Heavyweight title against New Japan Cup winner Zack Sabre Jr. Apparently, and this is an interesting backstory gone into this match, Okada only has submitted once in his career, and that was, of course, to Shinsuke Nakamura 3 years ago to an armbar. He's never submitted order to that. But it gets very interesting as this match goes along. But this match was like a picture-perfect technical wrestling exhibition from Zack Sabre Jr. If you want to look at a textbook of how to revert the counter wrestling, this is. If you want to see an example of how good technical wrestling can get, this is your play-by-play here, because it was beautiful to watch. It seems like everything Okada did at one stage, Sabre had an answer for. And to the point where Okada seemed frustrated at times because he was trying to overpower, but even then he had an answer.
Yeah,
he didn't need to overpower him because he's a smaller man, but he's so technically sound. There's nothing else he could do. And it was just like submission after submission, and even the variation, like even the counters of the. Like where he tried to attack the Rainmaker arm, so there's strategy in it as well, which made it so much more interesting. But submissions like muffs, like stretch muffler / triangles, guillotines, kimuras, like it was endless until so Okada, he really had his work cut out for him. But what made this match particularly, oh my god, is when Okada, his Rainmaker was countered by the armbar, out of the way. Then Nakamura submitted him, and it looked like he was going to tap out. Then it turned into a triangle. But he desperate. He got out into a power bomb and hit a desperation rainmaker again. He got the third one for an octopus hold, but locked both arms. Like can you imagine an octopus stretch where both arms are like behind your back like that?
Yeah.
Nasty. But in the end, he countered out, hit the tombstone, rainmaker was over. But this was a fantastic match because it was basically Okada being stretched to death by lucha style submissions.
Yeah. He's not. I don't know what more you need to say about.
It's a perfect New Japan
Zack
match.
Sabre Jr. I don't know. The chap is unbelievable,
Incredible.
and obviously we heard from the end of OTT this week that he's going to be in the main event of Scrappermania.
Indeed, which should be
against
awesome.
Jordan Devlin, and it's going to be incredible. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see this in person.
Yeah, but again, like I loved this match from top to bottom, like, you know, and I loved that the little nudge in the end over can he submit him like Nakamura like submitted him so. But like this puts say like even though he lost, this puts Sabre Jr. stock so high. I imagine he'll do very well in the G1 this year.
Yeah,
so well, because I think he's a made man after this. And of course, the win also means that Okada has now equals the record for title defenses as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, equaling the record set by Hiroshi Tanahashi. Post-match, Gato puts over Okada and asks who's left for Okada. The crowd chants for Tanahashi, and who arrives?
the man who you correctly claimed would last week.
Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Because this is a match I think that's been coming in the way, because they haven't actually had a proper match in 2 years.
Yeah.
And when you think of how amazing their rivalry is, for me, it's a rivalry of the decade in all of pro wrestling. And he congratulates the tying the record, but he says he's the only challenger and he will be the one to stop Okada's run and stop him from breaking the records. That I cannot wait to see. Like, you know, and again, that we go back to talking about how Ospreay and Skrull have such great matches together. You never get bored of it. Yeah. This is another matchup of Okada and Tanahashi. It's one of those matches that always will give you a classic. On any circumstances, on any storyline, on any way of life. It's something I can't wait. And it's going to be at Wrestling Don Taku as well. So a lot of awesome shows, matches coming up for that now. So New Japan is getting so good.
New Japan is always
it
good.
always was good.
It's always good.
But lately,
yeah,
it's on their stratosphere. It's out of this It's out of this world, man.
I know. I've got to make the effort to watch more of it. But when there's so much wrestling and there's only so many hours in the day, I've got to be selective. Now that WrestleMania season's over,
yeah,
and the first couple of weeks after WrestleMania, I'll cut back into WWE, and then I'll be able to watch more of the New Japan stuff and get better accustomed, so then we can have some proper debate on it. And I can't just agree with everything you say because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm describing it for you, which in the meantime is the best we can do.
You've got me hyped for it, so it's a good description.
Indeed. So, because it is WrestleMania weekend, we do still have to talk about WWE, which we will talk about after the short break.
Text 087 69 44 500.
90.3 Near FM.
Tous les matins de 8 à 9, du lundi au vendredi, notre programme d'infos en français en direct de Paris avec Radio France Internationale. Radio France Internationale, tous les matins de 8 à 9, du lundi au vendredi. Radio France Internationale, weekday mornings from 8 a.m.
Are you ready for this? I told you it was coming. JB, and he's ready to suck it to you one time.
Scat Patrol in your neighborhood. Monday nights from 8. This is not the 5 o'clock news. You're listening to Scar Patrol.
Pureheads,
Rockers,
hippies and
goths,
we lived those teenage years
with the music of the Grove.
every Friday from 10 to the end with me, Peter Gaynor,
and me, Lynn Kavanagh,
on The Grove Show.
here on Near FM.
I think it sounds slowed down just a little bit.
Tune in to Poem of the Week, Near FM's brand new series celebrating poetry.
I suppose the kind of poetry that I like to write is poetry that I think wears its secrets a little bit under the surface.
The series is a collaboration between Near FM, local poets and members of the community. First of all, what made you choose that poem? Tell us why you chose this poem.
The way he wrote really captured my imagination.
Poem of the Week will broadcast every Monday and Saturday.
Well, I think he articulated the feelings of the time, because don't forget, the populace were against the rebellion.
I like this poem particularly because I suppose it's about loss and redemption.
That's Poem of the Week, broadcasting every Monday at 12 noon, only on 90.3 Near FM.
90.3.
This is Near FM.
We're back here on The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guide. We've just talked for about a lot of reviews, and now we have WWE to talk about. It's WrestleMania season, true and true. It really is. And all the stuff we talked about wasn't even to do with WrestleMania. That's the worst part.
No, none of it has been to do with WWE at all.
Yeah, now we're getting on to it now. We'll start off with WWE Raw. Now we're tight for time, so I'll try and make this as snappy as possible this week. Even though it's a go-home show, when everyone's hyped for WrestleMania, we had a lot to go through, so I'll get through this as casually but as snappy as possible. So obviously, the first bit was Triple H, Stephanie, Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey, their segments before their match. It was basically like a press conference thing, like, you know, where...
It was like a UFC press conference, like a media day sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, one that doesn't throwing stuff at buses. But anyway, yeah, Stephanie...
Maybe water bottles.
Yeah. There's show calls and people put through tables. You don't see that in the UFC. Stephanie said Rousey is a star, but that she's bring her to WWE's best for business. But Angle has derailed her career, already costing her millions. Angle puts Rousey over as a partner, saying that Rousey chose this path and... Steph said though that Rousey chose this path and she will lose her first match at WrestleMania, quoting, "The world knows how you handled losses." Rousey then asked if Stephanie
That was a really good line.
It was a good line. I could see the face of her afterwards. It wasn't happy whatsoever. But then Rousey went up and said, Steph left her right-handed because she wants to know if she'll be able to still cash her checks after she rips off her arm. And then it got back and forth. They had shaking hands, but then Rousey didn't want to shake Stephanie's hand. Angle tried to separate them. Triple H then attacked Kurt Angle, but Rousey tried to choke Triple H before Stephanie quite awkwardly put Rousey through a table.
That was very awkward.
I blame Stephanie for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, who do you blame for that?
I blame Stephanie for that.
Yeah, okay.
Because here's at least Rousey trying to do it, but it just looked weird from the way Steph lifted her up.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who to blame. It did just look very weird in general, though.
Bayley took on Sonya Deville 1-on-1. It was an okay match. Basically the post match added more to the women's battle royale going forward. It ended where Bayley hit the stunner on the ropes for 2. Bayley took out Rose. Deville rolled up for 2, but then Bayley rolled up for the win. But after the match, it was Rose and Deville who beat her down. Sasha Banks came out, made the save, and they all cleared the ring. Banks demanded that Bayley raise her hand because she saved it, but they ended up brawling, and then Rose and Deville joined in and beat them both down before standing tall. Again, adding more fuel to the fire to the women's battle royale.
Exactly.
Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. This was a fantastic match. This was right up there, matches of the week.
These two have just been having matches the last 3 weeks.
This is easily the best match. So.
I'm okay. If they were to have matches for the next 3 years every week, I'd be okay with it too.
This could be a rivalry going forwards of ones we never get sick of, you know?
Yeah.
But then Miz was on commentary. Obviously, he was encouraging the two of them to beat the bejesus out of each other because, you know,
while
it's better for them.
He's a changed man because he's a father now.
Indeed.
Yep.
Again, congratulations to Miz on that. A very good back and forth match. Awesome. The crowd loves this. Like, you know, we sometimes wonder how into the matches the crowds would be for WWE shows, but by God, they love this back and forths.
Yeah.
And it shows how what he can do when two wrestlers as talented as Balor and Rollins can do when they just say, listen, let's just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
In the end, though, it was Balor's PK was blocked. Rollins looked for the barricades bomb, very infamously, but Balor escaped. Hit the drop kick on the outside. Back in, Rollins headed up to the top for the double stomp, missed, and then Rollins hit the super kick, and then finished him with a second attempt of the curb stomp for a very awesome win. And it's a great match, and it's great going into the Intercontinental title match. Kurt Angle talked to Paul Heyman backstage, teasing where it looked like Heyman was teasing a return to the UFC, hence Broctagon and stuff like that.
Yeah, until it was confirmed like a day after by Dana White.
Yeah, that he's coming back.
Yeah.
Angle just wanted to assure that the main event's sex stays in place. Heyman promises to do it Angle's way, but then laughs when Angle mentions not to get Brock hurt tonight. This is probably one of the funniest parts of Raw, where the bar arrive saying they don't care who Braun comes out to see opponents. Braun arrives saying he doesn't play well with others, but he does have a partner, and he doesn't appreciate what they've been saying, and he challenges to come into the ring, and Braun says, okay, I'll bring him out then. Out comes Brains Strowman with a shirt and glasses.
Yeah.
It basically plays it off going into the match, so it's a good playful way, not giving away who the partner could be. Because
who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think the tag team partner is going to be?
I'm still sticking to Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
It's a massive call.
Oh, by the way, by Dave saying still sticking to Bobby Lashley, just yesterday we recorded our prediction video with a certain individual. The video will come out on Saturday.
Yeah.
The same time as the podcast. Definitely give it a look. We had a lot of fun recording it.
Always a lot of fun.
And some interesting calls in there in general.
Indeed. What's your call? Since
I call on the video itself. I believe I went for. Who did I go for again?
The James Ellsworth.
No, I went for the Big Show.
Oh, Big Show. Yeah, that's the obvious choice.
And then I went for James Ellsworth. On the Low Blows prediction.
Yeah.
But I'm also torn between two others as well.
What's that?
Elias. And then also, it depends on how the build-up is, but if the build-up involves Angle, then, to the match where Angle says you have to have a tag team partner. If you can't find one, I'll find one.
Okay.
Then Jason Jordan.
Oh, dear. No. Oh, dearie me. That's probably realistically that actually is a good way of how they'd book it, but by God, it won't go over at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it will anyway.
It won't go over well, no.
Matt Hardy and Goldust face each other, where Goldust cut a promo about the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, quoting Andre the Giant from The Princess Brides. Nice touch, actually. Matt Hardy interrupted, saying he also wants to win the Andre. They had a good match. It was a simple enough match. Again, attempt building up for the Battle Royale. Nothing much more. It was just getting momentum for Matt. It looks like he's the favourite going in now because of that, because he was talking to the Andre the Giant trophy afterwards, which I thought was funny.
Rebby Hardy put up a great picture afterwards,
saying,
I wish find someone that looks at you the same way as Matt Hardy looks at the Andre the Giant Battle Royale trophy.
John Cena then went out saying that he was wrong, he's out of time, and there's no answer from the Undertaker, and he reckons that silence means no, and there's no Undertaker. He then apologised about Undertaker, saying he did everything he could to summon him, but he tried to fire up the crowd one last time, as it's a different crowd. It was Dallas this week, wasn't it?
No,
Nashville, sorry.
Nashville.
But he tried to fire up, and he gets him to chant for Undertaker, but still no Undertaker. Cena says he's poor. The fans have poured their hearts out for him, but he won't do anything. He's mad Undertaker has annoyed the fans, and he's a dead man walking. He's clear. You've left your hat in the ring and your balls at home, and he left it at that. So, and it's a good job. But I don't know, like, what would this mean now from here? Like, where do you think this will go? Like, if anything, at WrestleMania?
I don't know. I still don't know. And all credit to WWE for doing this, for keeping it so well hidden. But I really don't know.
I think they'll have a moment as opposed to a match.
You think so?
If they had a match, it would have been hyped.
Well, some interesting news was just confirmed today.
Okay.
That we didn't put in the news round.
Okay.
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are confirmed to be on commentary.
That's true for the pre-show
for WrestleMania. Is it definitely? It hasn't been confirmed. This pre-show.
It said in the pre-show that JR, Jim Ross, and Beth Phoenix will be calling the pre-show matches.
Oh, really?
Yes. So they'll be calling the two battle royales and the cruiserweight title match.
Oh, okay. Because the story I read was that they haven't been confirmed for which matches yet. So they were thinking that it could have been those two for the Taker against Cena. That there was going to actually be a match.
Okay. Angle then met with Roman Reigns, telling him to not be careful about the whole match with WrestleMania. He just went on and said, it's kind of weird how he went about it. He said, I said he will stay because he respects Angle before accusing him of pawning his gold medals. And then he said, he's just tired of Heyman and Lesnar. It's very contradictory of Reigns, but that's just a small little detail there. Elias took on Heath Slater. Previously, he buried Elias, he buried Atlanta. saying that he has a great performance scheduled for Mania. Do you think something will happen performance-wise with Elias?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he's actually been video.
Yeah, I was going to mention this. Yeah,
playing on Bourbon Street.
I seen that. Like, and there's a guy, I don't know who, from the Irish Wrestling Forum who posted that. I'm like, oh, how cool was that?
Yeah.
I can only imagine the chance for Who Wants to Walk with Elias on that. That would have been so cool. That's so cool, man. Backstage then, Braun Strowman and Kurt Hawkins meets, and Kurt Hawkins trying to encourage him to be his tag team partner.
Yeah.
He says, okay, you want your big break? Sure, well. No more to that. Nia Jax was interviewed saying that she's always been true to herself and has respect for herself, but she doesn't claim to be a goddess. She's just Nia, and she's at the point now where she doesn't take any crap. She's strong and confident, and she loves who she is, and she's proud of herself. And Bliss represents everyone who tries to keep her down and says she will squash her like a bug. I'm still calling the squash. This is why I think it could be a squash at WrestleMania.
I don't know. I just hope it's not just for Alexa's case.
Well, here's the thing: if they want to go really silly if they want to go really offensive on Nia, you know, they'd have a thing. And I feel horrible even saying this, as if Bliss came out in a sumo suit or something like that.
No, they won't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of distasteful. I was thinking
they did that, didn't they? For when Michelle McCool and Layla were doing that stuff.
Oh no way!
For Piggy James, remember that?
Oh dear God!
Yeah, so they're not going to do that again.
Dana Brooke and Asuka took on Alexa Bliss and Mickie James in a tag team match. It was what it was. It was just more hype towards that match. It was James on top, but Asuka locked in. The Asuka locked for the submission. Post match, Bliss and James tried to attack Asuka, but Nia made the save as Bliss went away. And then the segment between Brock and Roman, where Heyman said he can respect Roman, but Mania, Brock will F5 him and will beat him 1-2-3. That's a spoiler. And also hinted that if they lose, they will leave. This will be the last time we'll see him on Raw. Not giving anything away there, especially according to news.
Yeah.
Brock will go home to his family Sunday and admit defeat. You ain't the big dog. This is not your yard. This is another notch on Brock's belt, and you'll just be Brock's biatch. Roman arrives, with the talent blocking him from coming out, saying, "Why are you supporting him? You're going to support the part timer." And they let him through. 4 Superman punches in, and looked like Roman was going to pose for the title, but then Undertaker comes in like an Undertaker and F5'd him.
Eerily similar to a go-home show. Not a go-home show, I think it was a couple of weeks before WrestleMania, where it was meant to be the build-up of Austin against Brock.
Right.
Where Austin was in the Roman Reigns position. And Brock was in the ring with Heyman, and Heyman was giving it loads and blah, 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 blah. And the whole roster, instead of 6 people, or was it on the...
It was the entire roster.
It was the entire roster.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, on SmackDown, and then Austin just walked up, and they just parted like the Red Sea and let Austin go in after Brock.
You know the most ironic thing about that one in particular? Is that wasn't even supposed to be because Brock versus Austin.
No, it was.
It was Brock versus Goldberg.
No, but it was meant to be Brock versus Austin. That was going to be the WrestleMania match.
Oh, was it?
But because Brock decided he was not going to stay around anymore, and simultaneously Goldberg decided he wasn't going to stay around anymore, they both put them in a match with Austin as a special guest.
Plus, I presume, like, Austin then had his issues with his neck, so it probably would have been impossible anyway, even for a last match.
No, it wasn't his last match.
Well, then again, he still took bumps, so I don't know. Yeah, so maybe. Anyway, on that note, let's move on to SmackDown.
On to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, SmackDown.
It started with Shane and Daniel Bryan settling their differences. Like, Shane praised Bryan as a role model for fighting what he believed in and becoming medically cleared. He then talked about his own difficulties he's had lately with a hernia, diverticulitis, and a staph infection he also had. But he's been cleared and he's given the all-go for Sunday. And Bryan admits he's made mistakes, and when it came to Kevin and Sami, he apologised to Shane, and he then suggested hugging it, like going back to his therapy days with Kane. And he wasn't sure, Shane at first, but eventually they hugged it out and proclaimed they're on the same page for Sunday, and they're looking forward to the opportunity to ridding SmackDown of Sami and Kevin and beating the hell out of them at WrestleMania. Now, a lot of people have been saying that the way Shane has responded to this wasn't that convincing.
Okay.
That like the way if you look very closely at the face he made when he hugged, now it looked fine to me, but I think people are speculating that is this where something's going to happen?
I made an interesting call for what could happen. I'm not going to say it, but
we'll save that for the.
Yeah, so you better watch. I'm going to refrain from commenting on this piece, and I'm going to say watch the prediction video to see what I think.
We revealed enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, Charlotte took on Natalia 1-on-1. This was really like there wasn't really too much hype to this. Really, I think it just hints maybe.
They wanted to put the doubt in people's mind for the whole cashing in again.
Which is pretty much what happens, because Charlotte went on top and the moonsault at knees, and they both had a double down. Then Carmella came out yet again teasing a cash in, but Charlotte cut her off and took her out and basically kicks the suitcase off her hands. Natalia rolled her up for 2, which is very similar how Natalia won to a similar cash in attempt previously. But then Charlotte get the finger eight and tapped out, and that was that. Post-match, Asuka arrived, telling Charlotte that she will bow down to the Empress because no one's ready for Asuka. But then Charlotte replied, "She is ready, but is Asuka ready?"
The Queen will bow down to the Empress, she said, didn't she?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I love that promo. So looking forward to that. AJ and Nakamura had different promos talking about their match. AJ went on saying that he may be emotional, but he calls it his strengths, and he's not taking Nakamura lightly. And he says we're far away from the Tokyo Dome, and this is a dream match, but the reality is he will beat Nakamura. In response, Nakamura is saying that he has indeed been playing mind games lately, but he does take AJ seriously, and he came to the US for one reason, and that's WrestleMania. And he will take Styles. He will not take Styles lightly, but he still believes he's very emotional and will make a mistake. And when he does, he will take advantage and become WWE champion with a knee.2.face. Well, that's the way. It's the way he said that. You would think of it that way. Yeah. Rusev took on Jinder Mahal with Sunil Singh trying to do his best Satan English impression, and the entrance of Jinder Mahal, which was one of those things where it's like it's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
you know, sort of way. I enjoyed it. I think it was funny. But then Aiden English come out with a bit of an Eminem impersonation himself. He's encouraging a bit of rap, I think, with his introductions. I think
a little bit, yeah.
Before introducing Rusev there. In the end, though, it was Singh who distracted Rusev and at the head kick, allowing Mahal to get the roll for 2, but then match kick by Rusev, and that's that. After the match, it was Rusev. So it was Orton who got RKO'd to ruin Rusev Day. Orton then RKO'd English as well, and then shoved Rude's into Orton to get RKO'd, and then Rude handed Orton the US title to chance of Rusev Day.
Yeah.
So it was basically hype for the US title match. I don't know about you, but I'm intrigued by that match. A lot of people say that, that's just me. A lot of people see that as probably their toilet break, if you like, match of WrestleMania, which I can understand.
Now, I'll think twice about going on a toilet break because Rusev's in it.
Exactly.
But I'm still going on a toilet break.
You'll be there if he wins. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
The Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Mojo Rawley, and Primo. We haven't seen Primo in a while. Against Zack Ryder, Tyler Breeze.
This is weird. So the match was announced, and it wasn't even announced. He was just there. Primo was there, and then it cut to the Andre the Giant Battle Royale match, and I had the picture of Primo on the thing. What?
Where's he been?
Where has he been exactly? Has he been in his condo, like just relaxing since then?
Puerto Rico's a nice place.
I'm sure it is lovely at this time of year. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And he just comes around for he's like the Undertaker. He just shows up when it's WrestleMania.
It's a good time anyway.
It's
not a bad time to show up. To be honest,
he's the Primotaker.
The Primotaker. The Primotaker. Anyway, the Primotaker, along with Ziggler, Corbin, and Riley.
That's who's showing up instead of the Undertaker.
The Primotaker.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. That's a show title there. Took on Zack Ryder, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and Ty Dillinger. It was he done the deal with the Falcon Arrow. I think it was Fandango who did the Falcon Arrow on Primo. And it broke down as the guys tossed each other over the top rope. It's hype for the Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
It was Corbin who tossed Breeze over onto the floor, but then the end of days on Fandango was how that ended. The main event: Nakamura and AJ taking on Benjamin and Chad Gable. Before it happened, though, Kevin and Sammy invaded, saying this is still their show and no one will stop them. But very interestingly, they apologised to Birdie, as they're going to ruin Brian's comeback, and then added that Brie will not be able to put them back together again, or won't recognise the man.
She won't recognise the man that comes back. Yeah,
which is interesting because you I've considered this in your prediction league, but we'll get onto that. Well, that's for the video to check out anyway. Brian said this will be the last time Kevin and Sammy will ever come back on SmackDown, and then Shane led a hey goodbye chant as they all retreat to the crowds. The match itself, there's a bit of taunting here and there between them, or a bit of head patting for tags, especially from Nakamura's end of things. But in the end, it was Styles with the phenomenal forearm and pinned Gable before staring at Nakamura. It was a good match, and as it pretty much Styles ahead to WrestleMania. But post-match is where it was interesting, because Styles talked crap to Nakamura, but then Shelton and Gable attacked him. Nakamura fought them off. Then Styles teased a phenomenal forearm, and he ducked and patted him in the head.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem happy about it at all now, did he?
No.
Didn't.
Nice way to round it off as well. So I'm severely hyped for this match.
Indeed it is. So it should be very interesting for sure. Now, the Mixed Match Challenge, which we'll talk about now. So it was the final between Bobby Roode and Charlotte against The Miz and Asuka, and it's good, and it's good in two ends, especially because it gives us another preview for Charlotte and Asuka for WrestleMania, which for me is, I cannot wait for that match.
Yeah,
but and it was good, and it's good for the Miz's part, because he's had a fantastic week, I imagine, not just for winning this, but also the birth of his child as well. And in the end, though, it was a good match. Like, it was the Miz who looked for the figure four. Actually, it was a stage where Charlotte had the figure four on Miz at one stage.
Figure eight, wasn't it?
It was just a finger four. She wasn't on her bridge at that. So Asuka made the save, because here's Asuka, who's so terrified that Miz will lose the streak on her. So he's like, no, come on, you have to go, and stuff like that. So I can't do an impersonator, but you get the
terrible
idea.
accent again.
I know. Rude followed with a spine buster. Asuka made the save, takes Charlotte to the floor, and then Miz got the skull crushing finally for the win and won $100,000. I think their charity was
the Dogs Home.
The Dogs Home thing, I think it was. Yeah, that's it. Now, 205 Live, again, it's so good to watch lately, and there's some really good matches. This week it was the team of Lindsay Dorado and Grandma Metalik taking on Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa. There still feels like there's a bit of a feud going on between the two, and there's still tensions going on here. What happened was this match completely broke down, and that's a good thing, because it not only continues to feud, but it doesn't burn off one of the teams for a loss, so it's very cleverly booked in that case. Where Metalik tagged in, and then Tommy fought out of the Metalik driver, grabbing the mask until Dorado made the save, and it broke down. The referee tossed it away from there. So in the end, it was Itami and Tozawa that laid out Dorado and Metalik. So it continues that feud, but it's booked very carefully, where one doesn't eat the pin or whatever. Tony Nese took on Jonathan Pierce, where Drake Maverick, before they gave him a bit of a pep talk, maybe trying to motivate him, because he's a very talented wrestler and you think he could get more out of him.
Yeah.
But it's basically a rebound win, where he hit the springboard moonsault, stuns off the ropes, head on top, cuts him off, gut buster, followed by the running Nese to finish that. Gulak then was supposed to take on, it was announced originally he was supposed to take on Mark Andrews, and it was postponed until next week. He did a bit of a promo saying that he's the best submission specialist in WWE, and if you step on him, he will tap out. Andrews says he's here to prove a point. Gulak has crossed the line, and next week he will not be underestimating Andrews. And then Kalisto against Buddy Murphy. This was a fantastic match, if you haven't seen it, actually. This is the way a cruiserweight match should be, because there was so many crazy spots that you would never actually see on WWE TV, even on NXT.
Yeah.
That's how good it is. There was spots at one stage where there was a spiked Rana followed in for two, and then Murphy monkey flipped Kalisto onto the announce table, and then Murphy countered the Rana for a powerbomb for two, and the crowds were really into this. They loved this match from back and forth. In the end, though, it was Kalisto who fired back, but Murphy countered the Salida del Sol, while Kalisto fought back and hit the Murphy's Law for the win in a fantastic match, because it built very slowly, and it gradually built up, and the crowd reacted. There was chants of 205.
Okay.
Which, if we heard that 2 months ago, we'd be shocked.
Exactly.
Indeed.
We thought it would be a gag chant.
Indeed. Yeah. And they got a nice promo as well for the match between Ali and Alexander as well. And we're looking forward to that match as well. Now, NXT now does their final hype towards NXT New Orleans. It was supposed to be the final between AOP against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, which was actually a fantastic match up to that point.
Yeah.
where here's Roderick Strong doing the angle slam on, I think it was Akeem, I think, at the time. And even though AOP were overpowering, like even Dunn has his ways of trying to figure him out with the finger breaking, the double stomps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the end, it was Strong and Dunn hit their double bitter ends, but Aiken broke it up. Strong and Dunn ran well, but then got cut off by AOP. They're all down until Cole O'Reilly arrived, calling the show a double disqualification. And it's cool because it really picked up. It was an awesome match and it was a hot crowd. Do you think it made sense though? Because
the ending,
yeah. Considering all things, especially the rivalry, I suppose one thing you could argue is the rivalry that Undisputed Era seems to be having with Strong and Dunn lately.
Yeah, I think there's definitely pros of having both teams in the match against Undisputed Era by themselves. I don't think one outweighs the other, and I think the fact that it's more than likely going to be AOP's swan song, they had to put them in the match somehow.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm all for it, to be honest. I don't question NXT booking anymore. They know what they're doing, so.
Absolutely. In the end, William Regal arrived, obviously very angry about this, announced that the Disputed Era will be defending the tag titles against AOP and Roderick Strong and Dunn, and they'll be for both the Dusty Classic trophy and the tag team tournaments. They later on yelled to Regal about this, but they may have to work. Cole may have to work twice on a Saturday.
Double duty, yeah.
Double duty. But Regal gave him three options: either you can work twice, or Roddy can go alone, or you can put you out a ladder match. Your decision. Basically, let him out too. But that's what you get.
Yeah. I do have the sneaking suspicion that they'll come out to the Ram and say, "There's always a fourth option."
Ooh.
And then they could get someone else to come.
Okay, here's the thing: if they have a fourth member of the Undisputed Era, who will it be?
I don't know who.
I know exactly who.
Who?
Donovan Dijak.
Oh!
I only thought of it now.
What a call!
I only thought of it now.
What a call!
I can't believe... And he's been around the Performance Centre.
He was signed the same time as Ricochet as well, and War Machine.
Oh, before that?
Before that, sorry, actually.
He's been doing house shows. There's an entrance of Adam Cole in NXT Cleveland. That's all over YouTube at the moment. His match is against Dijak.
Yeah.
And he's a good enough wrestler. Just put him in there now.
That's such a good call.
I can't believe I didn't think about that in the video.
Yeah.
Oh well. Kairi Sane took on Vanessa Bourne. Vanessa Bourne is actually improving a lot. If you have, she was in the Mae Young Classic, but she's but this was more of a showcase match, I feel, for Kairi Sane, where she did her usual stick where she fired up, did the sliding D. Bourne tried to fight back, but then knocked her down for a trio of row, double stomp, and then finished her off with a top rope elbow. And it keeps up. It probably sets her up for after takeover. After that'll be her. She'll be the challenger after New Orleans against presumably Baszler. Or certainly we'll see what happens with that anyway. But
Baszler or Moon, obviously, because they're fighting each other.
Yeah. Again, though, I'm interested to see more of Vanessa Bourne. I think she has great capabilities as a heel. But after that match, Lacey Evans did a sort of a press conference backstage saying that she can't get a title shot until Regal stops giving trash opportunity, and she was calling Nikki Cross insane, running down Ember Moon, and even mocked Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I think Lacey Evans and Nikki Cross is going to be the pre-show match.
Oh, really?
Take over, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, Kairi Sane and Lacey Evans will be facing each other next week. So that will probably be the match. Kairi Sane and Lacey Evans. So that's going to be the pre-show.
Yeah.
And then finally, Killian Dane took on Lars Sullivan. Big lads collides. It was a pretty awesome match. Actually, enjoyed it. It's interesting to see two guys of that size fight each other. It's very rare you find that. You have to go to the Indies to check out stuff like that. But it was Dean who cut off and followed up and knocked Sullivan to the floor. They're both down. Velveteen Dream comes out looking like he's going to dive on top of everybody until Adam Cole comes out, EC3 comes out, and Sullivan and Sullivan come back in, and out comes Ricochet to a huge pop, and they all stare down. Hype, big hype, and it's final hype gone into it.
Ricochet's first appearance on TV as well.
Now it's interesting because we didn't see the brawl. There's a video that a fan took of them all brawling in the end. We didn't see that on the TV.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So it must have been off after they went off air then.
To be honest with you,
who stood tall?
Ricochet.
Oh, of course.
They brawled in, and then he did the big tope over the rope, and he came in, did another flip, and then posed again.
Oh, okay.
So So that's a really good match. I cannot wait for that anyway. But God, that was so many previews. And we're not too far away now. We're going to finish off. We have 2 more bits now. We're going to first of all quickly go through.
Nearly there, Dave. Come on, get it together.
It's a long show. Go through our previews of the week.
What? Look at what we have here, folks.
Again, we'll fly through these very quickly. Obviously, at WrestleMania nights, Pro Wrestling Ulster will be having their Live at the Compound show at the S13 in Belfast. There's still tickets available on tickettailor.com. There's a good few matches announced this week for it, actually. Obviously, we knew already that Tim Steed and Lauren LaRue will be taking on Rocky Starr and Katie Harvey in a tag team match, but also announced this week, Kenny Grimes will take on Puento. The Super Nintembros will take on the team of Dmitry Krakovich and Mitch Baxter. Michael May will take on Nathan Martin. Luke Kelly will take on LJ Cleary, and also Luther Valentine has issued an open challenge to anyone from the PW roster. Phil Boyd, JDP, Darren Carney, and CTB the Third also set to appear. Now we have 3 options that we'd like to mention regarding the WrestleMania coming up on Sunday. Obviously, Low Blows will be having their party at Buskers in the Ball. There's tickets available at eventbrite.ie, also free for Low Blow Network subscribers. It includes showing WrestleMania in full, including pre-match entertainment, where they're showing NXT NOLA in full, their annual Low Blows Hall of Fame ceremony, their inaugural Pool Mania, and performance from the Low Blows band, as well as the WWE team's DJ sets. Cheap Heat Productions will be doing their bits at the Pillar Bar at Westmoreland Street, Dublin. Admission is €10 at the door, and they'll be showing WrestleMania 34 in full, drink and food specials with a full DJ sets. Also, I think Sinitz are doing the show as well, actually. They're showing it.
Sinitz and Fibbers also do.
Yeah. That's in Dublin. Over in Cork, CCW are providing a live screening of WrestleMania as well at the Maku Sporting Club and Casino in Cork City. Tickets available at eventbrite.ie. They'll be showing WrestleMania 34 in full with late food and late night bar and foods, with also Raven Creed and Billy Bedlam from Therapy set to appear on that as well. Back to the local stuff. OCT Contenders 8 for the NLW title tournaments will be at Sunday, April 15th at the Ringside Club National Stadium in Dublin. Tickets are available at eventbrite.ie. They have the 4 quarterfinals now, which are now definitely set in stone, which as Scotty Davis against Chris Widgway, Terry Thatcher against Eddie Stone, Doug Williams against Michael May, and Nathan Martin against Curtis Murray. Also, Team Tropicana take on the Anti-Fun Police, with El Ligaro and Jordan Devlin set to appear. We don't know much about Jordan Devlin at this point with his injury, but we will see if he makes an appearance at the very least.
Yeah.
Also,
we have El Ligaro there, so that's cool.
Indeed, yeah. Also, CCW's P2 Pain Spotting will be happening on Saturday, April 21st at the Commons Inn Hotel in Cork. Tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Only there's not too many matches announced so far. So far we have Rough Stuff against Flight Modes for a CCW Tag Title Eliminator.
They had a promo as well put up. Both teams. Really good one. Should check it out.
Indeed.
If you get the chance.
Also, the Armstrongs, speaking of a good promo, the Armstrongs with Debbie Cattell will be taking on the 3-man team, Therapy team, Raven Crees, Billy Bedlam, and Gunter Isaac, Therapy, in a 6-person tag team match.
Yeah,
the
that'll
APA.
Be a good match. I did really enjoy that video.
I love their promos. They don't do a bad. There's no such thing as a bad promo for them. They'll also be having 4 qualifying matches yet to be announced to determine the main events of their Revolution 6 main events. The names for that will be drawn at their Mania party on WrestleMania night as well. I think that's to do with their CCW heavyweight title, but we haven't confirmed that as such, so we'll have to see. We'll tell you as things develop.
Because of Pastor's William Evers' injury, of course. Yeah,
indeed. But that's our previews of the week. Now let's finish off our show with our yes nos.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
There's a few to go through, but we'll just get through them very quickly. The Rock to appear at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Okay, if he appears at WrestleMania, how great would it be if it's him showing Elias how to do a live set?
Yes.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah. But would him have like a sing-off or something like that? Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. Who needs live with Elias? That would be brilliant if they did something like that. 205 Live titles to happen. It's looking that way, and I think the developments are going. I think Triple H and Record is now gone and saying that there's definitely potential, and there's to do way better. And I think
it won't be for a couple of months because NXT just brought their new title in, so they'll have to wait.
Indeed, Hulk Hogan to replace Daniel Bryan as SmackDown GM?
Looks like they're going to have to, because I think Daniel Bryan's going to go back to being like a competitor, so they have to do it. Hulk Hogan, depends if he can still connect with the crowd or not.
We'll
I'm
see.
not sure.
We'll see. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar to leave WWE after WrestleMania. I think it's an obvious one.
Brock, yes. Paul, no.
So is Paul associated with Brock to the point where it's both of them?
I don't know. I'd like to see Paul Heyman take on another client.
They should. I mean, it makes more sense.
I think him taking on Ronda Rousey would just work brilliantly.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Rusev to leave WWE. There's rumours about this now. Very light rumours.
Yeah, there was rumours about it that last month he asked for it, but they weren't substantiated rumours. They were very light rumours. So, I'm going to say no. I think obviously he pushed them, saying that he wanted to be in a WrestleMania match. They put him in the Fatal 4-Way, obviously. So we'll see what happens. If he wins the title, everything's good. If he doesn't win the title, then you can start to fear a little bit for what might happen.
Indeed, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Finally, Undertaker and John Cena to happen in any way, shape or form at WrestleMania.
Something will happen. Don't know yet, though.
What do you think will it be a moment or a match?
I'd like a match.
We really see. I don't know if a match makes sense. I don't know if a match makes sense.
I don't know. I'd like a match under certain circumstances.
Okay,
and that is Badass Taker.
Oh, please.
It's the only way I think a match could happen, because the way Taker finished last year with Roman, leaving the gloves and everything. That's the way I want. You can't bring that guy back again.
No, that's it. That Undertaker's gone forever.
But then again, if you cast your mind back to the 25th anniversary show of Raw, he was still the dead man and showed up, obviously just wearing a hood instead of gloves and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
A moment with Badass Undertaker.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd love Badass Undertaker. I'd love to hear, like, either the Limp Bizkit song or the Kid Rock song, and then just you hear the bike comes down, and that would just be perfect.
That's a moment right there.
It'd be perfect.
That's a moment.
I don't know if we will.
Well, on that
they could do a Rock and Cena thing and build it for a year.
There you go.
You know.
On that thought, that's all the time for we have this week on the Kickouts. Your weekly pro wrestling guides right here on 90.3 Near FM, on all good podcasting providers on the EMC Podcast Network. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, or Twitter at The Kickout Live, or Instagram at The Kickout Wrestling, my Twitter at Dave Bandana, and Daragh Maher.
Mars Bar.
And also we have our prediction video that we're going to be putting up on Facebook and YouTube.
Editing it as we speak.
Yeah, so that will be up on Saturday at the same time as our podcast. Where the two of us and our special guests, we will tell you as it happens.
Yeah.
Making our predictions for NXT NOLA and WrestleMania itself. So, Daragh, this is it. We can enjoy WrestleMania weekend now.
Have a great weekend, Dave.
Should be awesome.
I hope you enjoy every single bit of the wrestling.
Indeed. And we hope you guys too. But until us next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Thank you so much for listening.